Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tyler, Texas. We are here at All Saints Episcopal Academy at Mewborn Field here in Tyler, getting ready for some by-district action with the Centerville Tigers and the Joaquin Rams. I am Tommy Davis, along with Coach Rick Prater. And, Coach, by-district round of football opens things up this week. Of course, we had games last night, but more games tonight, and expecting a great one here between these two teams.
Yes, we call this the new season here, and it's exciting time for all the kids and coaches and the communities here as we prepare for playoff football here in Texas. And Centerville Tigers should be a super game between the Tigers and the Rams of Joaquin tonight. And looking at Centerville, they're tri-district champions, and with Groveton and Lovelady, and Centerville ended up being the number 3 seed, and they're facing the Joaquin Rams, who is in an equally tough district where St. Augustine was the obvious district champ, but Joaquin was the number 2 seed, and they have great tradition over there. And Coach Wayne Gandy was the coach there for many years, and always a playoff contender and a deep playoff contender. And so we look for an exciting football game with very similar styles tonight.
You know, we talked a little bit about this district last week that Centerville is going into facing with the last game, or maybe the week before last, with Centerville and Groveton. But the St. Augustine, Joaquin, Alto, Price Carlisle district, it's a pretty tough district.
It is, and very similar to the Centerville, Groveton, Lovelady district, where any of those teams could have been the district champion. And sometimes you can get a better draw sometimes when you're in a number 2 or 3 seed. But for sure tonight, these are two teams that have aspirations of going deep in the playoffs, and they were preseason top picks. So it's going to be interesting to see, and it's going to be kind of sad to see that one of these teams will not advance tonight, because they're very similar in styles. They both have very similar records, and are always a threat each year to make a deep run in the playoffs. So it's going to be a fascinating game, though, tonight for sure.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Lawson earlier this week. That's the head coach for Joaquin, and he told me that, honestly, when the season started, he really thought it would be Joaquin and Centerville facing off in the Region 3 championship game. That's kind of where he projected these two teams to face off, and he had no idea that we'd face off in the first round.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It just shows you kind of what can happen during the season when you got so many good teams in that district.
Absolutely.
In both districts.
And of course, the preseason district was tough for both these teams too. They play tough schedules, and that's to get them ready for this moment right here. Though, even though they're not facing in the 4th round, they're facing in the 1st round. So, either way, it's going to be exciting.
About to have our national anthem now, so why don't we take a 2-minute break, hear a word from some of our sponsors, and be back with more pregame here on KMVL after this. Welcome back to Tyler All Saints School here at Mewborn Field in Tyler, as the captains meet on the field right now for the coin toss. Captains for Joaquin tonight is number 1, Trey Wilkerson, number 11, Keith Johnson, number 24, Case Yates, and number 56, Zachary Bell. And for the Centerville Tigers, number 77. And, Centerville's new roster tonight, I don't have a 77 on my roster. I think that's Zach Reyes. Number 42 is Brandon Madison. Number 12 is Hunter Free. And the last member out there for the Tigers,
number 2, Cade Pate.
Okay, Cade Pate. I wonder why. I know Zach Reyes is on the new roster is 76. But for some reason, they left off the 77 on the new roster. But flipping the coins right now, we'll go ahead and give you the starters for these two teams here in just a second. Looks like coin toss has been made, and Centerville will receive to start the game. Well, just looking out at the Rams, Coach, they've got some big kids over there.
They do, and as usually happens in the playoffs, your junior varsity teams have been brought up, and so both rosters are very full. And so yes, and Joaquin has some big kids, but I'm sure they're looking over here saying the same thing about Centerville. So exciting night here, Tommy. All the bleachers are full. It's a different intensity tonight for sure when it's playoff football here in Texas.
Several other teams playing tonight and had several games last night, including a couple here on KMVL AM and FM. But as soon as we get some scores, we had one come in earlier, the Grapeland game. You had a score on that one.
I did, Tommy, and it had Grapeland trailing 7-0 to Evadale early in the first quarter on that one. And let me see, Alto and Lovelady no score, and that's what we've got so far.
As soon as we get some more scores coming in, we'll be sure and pass those along to you as well. But Joaquin will begin kicking away to the Centerville Tigers as we're just about ready to get this game, this by-district playoff game underway tonight. That's Cade Pate going back deep along with Brandon Madison for the Centerville Tigers. And number 60, Jesus Bravo, will be kicking off here for Joaquin.
And talking to Coach Hardy this week, he said their offenses are very similar, so we'll get to see Centerville first here and see if they can't punch one in here early.
Yeah, both these teams run a T-style offense, and Centerville a multiple T set. Joaquin a slot T, sometimes a wing T. Kickoff underway. One of the up-backs going to take it for Centerville at the 27-yard line. Coming near side across the 35, has the 40, some room, 45, and all the way up to midfield. Jason Zarate on the return back there. Gets Centerville a great field position back to the 50-yard line.
Great burst of speed there by Zarate. Got it to the 50-yard line and followed that wall on that short kick. So good field position for the Tigers.
First down and 10 for Centerville from midfield.
Heck, Tommy, I have more intensity tonight. I can feel the playoff feeling here. It's awesome.
Tigers coming up to the line of scrimmage. One receiver out to the right side. That's Jason Zarate. Hunter Free comes up under center. Two backs behind him. Bird split off to the left side. And now Bird goes in motion to the right, and we have flags come in. And we'll start the game off with a penalty.
Yeah, a lot of shifting going on by the Tigers trying to deceive the defense of Joaquin, and in the process, one of the offensive linemen jumped a little early, probably the nerves there, start of a playoff game.
They'll back him up 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15 now from the 45-yard line of the Tigers. Nice complex here at All Saints. Turf field, not just huge stands on both sides, but they accommodate very well.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of playoff football. You get some nice venues.
One receiver out to the right side. That's Zarate again. Split backs behind Freeze. He comes up under center. Now one goes in motion. That's Gunzelman. Hand off to Madison across the right side. Madison breaks a couple of tackles, makes the 50-yard line, gets through another one, and is upended at the 47 on the other side. Madison will gain about 7 or 8 yards there on the carry.
That's a new little wrinkle there by the Tigers. A little off-tackle belly play to Madison, and he bounced off a couple of tacklers and was able to get the ball past the original line of scrimmage and a few extra yards. So it's 2nd down and looks like about 8, so about 7 yards on that first carry.
Tigers making a pretty good run there on 1st down, so they'll come back up 2nd down and long. Zarate, the receiver, out to the left side this time. And now several backs shift. We'll have 2 receivers out to the left side, single back. They'll pitch it out to Bird. He'll cut it up, and he'll get a yard on the carry as the Joaquin defense able to turn him in and stuff him.
That's Trenton Ramsey for the Rams on the tackle. Did a good job not getting hooked there and was able to keep outside contain and make the tackle for just a 1-yard gain.
3rd down and 6 coming up here for the Tigers from the Joaquin 46-yard line.
And although both offenses are very wing T type, Centerville takes their time getting up, and you'll see Joaquin look very much like Franklin as they hurry up to the line of scrimmage. 2
receivers out to the right side this time. Free takes the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back the pass. Quick pass out to the right side, caught in the flat at the 45, the 40, the 1st down, 35, and finally brought down at the 35-yard line.
Nice throw there by Free to Bird, and he was just wide open out there in the middle of out there in the flats to the right, and he had no one even close to him there, Tommy, and was able to pick up a nice gain. And that's just the great thing about Bird there. He can do so many different things: block, run the football, and catch. So he's like a triple threat there for the Tigers.
You know, he started off in the year as more of a tight end type, but then got into the backfield quite a bit and will run the ball quite a bit as well.
Yeah, they just want to get more touches to him because he's skilled for a big guy.
2 receivers out left side this time. Free fakes the handoff, drops back the pass. Another quick pass out to Bird, caught at 35. Stiff arms one guy across the 30, down close to the 25-yard line.
Exact same play, except run to the opposite side, and Bird wasn't quite as open, but he sure made a fine run after the catch, and that's always such a big thing, just not catching the football, but what you do after you catch it. And he's just such a load to bring down, well over 200 pounds, and very light on his feet as well.
2nd down and 1 now for the Tigers. As Free comes up under center again, single back behind him. Now Madison in motion. They'll hand off to Gunzelman straight ahead. Gunzelman breaks a couple of tackles, gets across the 20, and has the first down.
Centerville running a lot of different formations and shifts and different kinds of motion. It's really got Joaquin on their heels right now, and Gunzelman with that straight ahead base dive was able to find a crease there and get a first down for the Tigers. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line after the 9-yard gain by Gunzelman. Tigers back up to the line of scrimmage. One receiver right side. Bird split off to the left, now goes in motion right. They'll fake the handoff. Free will keep it himself as he turns up, gets close to the 15-yard line. Might have been a little bit of a busted play there. Free looked like he turned around to hand it off, and was nobody was there, so just winded up running the ball inside. A little confusion there, Tommy. I'm not sure if it was an off-tackle belly like the first play of the game, and Free didn't get out there as far as he needed to, or the back just aiming path was a little bit too wide. Not sure up here in the press box, but definitely a miscommunication, but Free did the right thing and go ahead and get something out of nothing.
Free once again turns around, throws to the Madison coming right side. Madison looking for a hole, but he's cut down as he crosses the 15. Down to about the 14-yard line. Pickup of a yard there, maybe 2.
What a fine job by Case Yates, outside linebacker for the Rams. He was able to get off that tackle, off that block, off that fullback, and was able to get up off the ground and make a shoestring tackle on Madison for a short gain.
So a 3rd down and 7 coming up for the Tigers.
And Joaquin's running an even front tonight, a 4-2-5 look, or a split 6, as we would say, with one high safety. Kind of an old traditional defense.
2 receivers this time out to the left side for Centerville. Free fakes the pitch, throws it out to Bird, caught at the 10-yard line, turns it up, gets down inside the 10 to about the 6-yard line. He's going to be real close to another Tiger first down.
That same play they've run 3 times now here on the first drive. It's a little naked bootleg by Hunter Free, and Bird's just running a little speed out here to the flat, and he's close to the first down, but it's going to be a little bit short.
They spot him at the 6-yard line. Well, I had him getting to the 7 for a first down, and they've dropped the chains. Looks like they gave him the first down over there.
Yes, 1st and goal for the Tigers.
So Tigers coming up inside the 10-yard line at the 6. Has a man in motion. That's Gunzelman, moves over to the left side. And now Bird comes around. Bird takes the pitch, turns it up. Bird looking for the 5-yard line, but he'll be brought down right there at the line of scrimmage.
Once again, another look that I haven't never seen by the Tigers. They were in their heavy set, tackle over with their wing and slot, but they shifted the fullback over to get a little edge, extra advantage on the block. But Bird, one thing is not one of his strengths is to string the ball outside. He's more of a downhill runner with his size, and once he went outside, the contain was able to get to him, which was led once again by Case Yates for the Rams.
2nd down and goal now for the Tigers. Centerville coming up passing more, in this first drive than we've seen all year. Free turns around, and he'll hand it off to Madison up the middle. Madison goes in for the touchdown. And I never saw the pitch back to Madison. I thought Free kept the ball going in, but I think Free might have pitched it back and then went up in the hole and maybe threw a lead block in there.
I'm just as confused as you are, but I do know Hunter Free did lead the way for Madison, and of course with his size and strength and speed, he was able to lower his shoulder and get across the goal line for a touchdown.
Centerville on the board, 6-0 the score, and Bird will come on to kick the extra point with Free to hold. Good snap back, ball's down, kick is up. This one is good. 7-0 is your score. Centerville takes the early lead over Joaquin. We'll take a 1-minute break. Be back with the Centerville Tiger kickoff here on KMVL after this. Welcome back to Tyler, Texas here at All Saints School. Centerville Tigers leading the Joaquin Rams 7-0 with 6:47 remaining in the first quarter. Tigers about ready to kick off to Joaquin. They'll have their first drive coming up of the night.
What a fine drive by the Tigers there, Tommy. We were talking about that over the timeout there, and just a nice mix of throwing and running and different formations and shifting and just an effective, efficient drive, and just what the doctor ordered for the Tigers to start off this first week of the playoffs.
Sorry, Daniel Bird will kick it off. Joseph Tarver and Hunter Gates back deep for Joaquin. Bird will pooch kick over to the near side. That's going to be a fair catch called for and made by Ian Shahan. So the Joaquin offense will set up on the about 37-yard line.
And as I was mentioning a while ago, Tommy, they're going to run the wing tee as well. And difference is they're going to speed up to the line of scrimmage. They're going to get in 4-point stances with their offensive line, and their backs get real close behind the line. It's an old traditional wing tee offense, and they very, very similar to the Franklin Lions.
Wilkerson, the quarterback, under center. He'll turn around, pitch the ball out left side to Gates. Gates turning the corner at the 40-yard line, has close to the 45 before he's brought down. Pickup of about 5, maybe 6 yards there on the toss.
Just toss sweep there to Gates, and they got the corner in a hurry, and productive play on first down.
Pickup of 6 yards there to the 44-yard line. 2nd down and 4 coming up for the Rams. 7-0 once again your score. Centerville taking their opening drive 50 yards down the field. Took up half the first quarter clock. Joaquin coming back up to the line. Wilkerson turns around, pitches the ball back near side, and the running back there is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. He'll fall forward for a couple of yards there. And that was Gates again on the carry. I think it was Gates.
Cash Parker on the tackle for the Tigers. I see that Madison and Bird are rotating the same position on defense here at defensive end. And that's good strategy tonight, getting two of your better offensive players platooning here on defense to keep themselves fresh for offense and being one of the bigger and better players on the team as well. But, yes, 3rd and short here for the Rams.
3rd and less than a yard here as Wilkerson comes up under the line. Quarterback sneaks straight ahead and fumbles the ball, and we have a flag on the other side. Looks like Joaquin fell on it on the 49-yard line, but a flag on the far side of the field over there. That was as the ball was snapped. Let's see.
It was a quick snap, so it'll be interesting to see what the call was.
Referee's talking about it there at midfield with 5:34 remaining in the first quarter. Centerville up 7-0.
And with these two running style offenses, this game will be going fairly quick, that's for sure.
Offsides the call against the Centerville Tigers.
And I didn't see anybody jump, so that's an obvious lining up in the neutral zone. For you listening audience, just basically means somebody was lined up across the line of scrimmage. So that just makes an automatic first down for the Rams.
1st and 10 from the Centerville 48-yard line now for Joaquin. As they come back up to the line, Wilkerson with a back behind him. 2 split off to the left side. He'll hand off to that back, and he'll be stuffed at the line, but we have another flag on the play. That was Case Yates on the carry.
Same rep, same flag, and I'm interested to see if this is the same possible penalty.
They're huddling up again there at the 46-yard line, and looks like they're going to mark it off against, well, I say that, and it's going to be offsides against Centerville. Yep, same call there.
Yeah, I just had a feeling there, Tommy. Of course, I'm 0 for 72 on guessing penalties this year, but somebody for Centerville was lining up in the neutral zone, so Coach Hardy's he's pointing to somebody over there to back up a little bit. So just a little anxious. They're not jumping. They're just probably just a little piece of their face mask or helmet just lined up across and getting over that football.
So 1st and 5 here for Joaquin from the Centerville 43-yard line.
And that hurts because they stuffed them for no gain.
Wilkerson turns around, throws back to Hunter again, and this time Hunter Gates will drive forward for about 2 yards.
Just a little toss to Yates there, and it's not an outside sweep on that particular play. It's kind of like what Centerville runs to Madison, and it's that tunnel sweep where it's real tight and inside the tackle box. He does a real good job getting behind his blockers, and he's a very patient runner. So it's still, even though it was a minimal gain, it was already 1st and 5, so it's still 2nd and short here for the Rams.
2 yards on the carry there, so 2nd down and 3 coming up for Joaquin as they come back up once again. Wilkerson has Gates in motion. He'll hand off on the opposite side on a counter, and they'll break it loose across the right side. That is Connor Bragg still going, breaking tackles inside the 10-yard line and finally brought down around the 9.
Cade Pate was able to bring him down, but not after a huge gain there. And you called it right there, the counter there, Tommy, and a little misdirection play by the Rams. And he stiff-armed a couple defenders going down the field, and just a fine play call there by Joaquin, and they're down there in the red zone.
Pick up of 32 yards there on the carry by Bragg. Our first and goal here coming up for Joaquin.
We just got a good old-fashioned slugfest going on right now, Tommy, with two excellent rushing attack offenses.
First and goal for the Rams. Wilkerson turns around, pitches back to Gates, going left side, now cuts it up. He's going to be hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped. Might have actually lost a yard on the carry.
Getting that number there, it was a linebacker scraping over the top for the Tigers. Looks like it was Jose Hernandez, and boy, he laid a good hit on Yates for no gain.
They'll move it back to the line of scrimmage, so a second down and goal from the 9 coming up for the Rams. Wilkerson this time turns around, throws it back to the fullback. He's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped for a loss of a yard. Tiger defense stiffening up here on second and goal.
Daniel Bird on the tackle, and he just destroyed his blocker in front of him and totally disrupted that play in the backfield. And Joaquin's in an unfamiliar situation here, and that's third and long. Both these teams like to be in third and very manageable if it's a third down situation.
Third and goal from the 10-yard line here for the Rams. As they come back up to the line, Yates in the backfield, but the little reverse coming back to Bragg, and Bragg will get hit and drop behind the line of scrimmage once again.
Now they're trying to determine if it was a fumble. The ball is loose, but the referees are motioning that the ball was down. But either way, what another super play on defense by the Tigers, and you could call that a double reverse or a double Delaware toss or something like that. But either way, they were attempting to make a big play on third and long, and it's field goal situation for Joaquin.
Loss of a yard here as they line up for the field goal attempt with Ramsey to hold. He'll try to punch it through from the 17-yard line, so a 27-yard attempt. Good snap back. Ball is down. The kick is low and is no good. That one went through the line of scrimmage. So the field goal attempt no good. Centerville remains up 7-0. They'll have the ball first and 10 around the 18.
That's Jesus Bravo kicking for the Joaquin Rams, and he might have just lifted his head up. That's usually when you kick one that low, that means you kind of was pulled your head up just a hair and probably was just trying to see the ball go through the goalpost and mishit it a little bit.
They'll actually pull this one out to the 20-yard line, so first and 10 for Centerville from their own 20. Tigers will have their second run of offense with 2:14 remaining here in the first quarter. One receiver out left side, that's Cerati. Has a man in motion, free, turns around, throws it back to Madison. Madison cuts it up across the 20, then dropped as he gets to the 23-yard line. Gain of 3 there for Brandon Madison.
Just good gang tackling by the Joaquin Rams, and I've seen them play in the past, Tommy, in the playoffs, and they're exactly how they've always been. They're tough. They get off their blocks, which they did on that particular play because Bird was out here blocking number 24 for the Rams, which is one of their better players. His name is Case Yates, of course, and he was in on the tackle.
Bird goes in motion to the right side this time. Madison takes the pitch, cuts it up, and breaks a couple of tackles through the line of scrimmage. Gets up close to the 30-yard line. He's going to be about a yard short of the first down, but picks up 6 on the carry.
Tunnel sweep there to Madison, and Titus Harvey on the tackle there for the Joaquin Rams. And both defenses are looking to try to flex their muscle a little bit because on each team's first drive, they were able to move the ball at will down the field.
Third down and 1 coming up for the Centerville Tigers from the 29-yard line. Need to 30 for a first down. Tigers have a receiver out right side. Free will turn around, hand it to Gunzelman. Gunzelman straight ahead. Looks like he'll have the 30-yard line, and if that's the case, he will have the first down.
Base wedge dive to Gunzelman. Bread and butter play for the Tigers on third and short. And he was able to get the first down. So the chains are moving and the clock is moving inside a minute.
Pickup of 2. Talking to Coach Baker from Joaquin earlier this week, he said, the way these two styles of offense run, this game could take just 2 hours before it'll be done. So we may be out of here by 9:30 tonight.
Absolutely. And my kind of football, if you want to know the truth. Not to get home early, but I just love running the football. So good stuff here.
Free turns around, throws it back to Madison going right. He's going to be hit in the backfield and breaks that tackle, but it gets back to the line of scrimmage and then dropped. Might have actually lost a yard there on the carry. He was had one man only after he took the pitch in the backfield.
And one man usually can't get Madison down, but they're gang tackling very well over there on the Joaquin side of the football. And Trenton Ramsey was leading the way for the Rams on that tackle.
They'll back it up to the 29-yard line, so a loss of a little over a yard there. Call it second down and 12 for the Tigers. Looks like they'll let time expire here in the first quarter. 2 seconds remaining, and that'll bring it into our first quarter. Boy, quick and nice, isn't it?
Yeah, my drive might have been further than this game. So,
first quarter comes to an end. Centerville leads at 7-0. We'll take a 1-minute break, come back with a start of quarter number 2 here on KMVL right after this. 7-0 your score as we welcome you back to Tyler, Texas here at All Saints School. The Centerville Tigers have the ball, second down and about 12 at the 29-yard line, their 29-yard line. Tigers up 7-0 over the Joaquin Rams. I'm Tommy Davis along with Coach Rick Prater. By district football, well, it's a good time of year, isn't it?
Top dog, this is what it's all about right here.
Tigers come up to the line, 2 receivers out to the left side this time. One back behind Free. Madison split off to the left side. He goes in motion now. Free will pitch it off to Madison. Madison fumbles and then loses the ball as he gets hit. Joaquin will scoop it up inside the 15-yard line.
Option play to Madison, and the pitch was just a little bit high, but it was right there in his hands. So Madison knows he should have hauled that thing in, but he was hit immediately, and that made the ball especially come loose. And the Rams were right there to scoop it up. They're very fortunate they didn't scoop it up and score there, but they're in good position to score inside the 15-yard line.
Got it on the 14 there. So Joaquin flips the field, and they're inside the red zone to start the second quarter.
These teams are so evenly matched, Tommy. You can see that right away that mistakes are going to be a big part of this game.
Quarterback will fake the handoff. Now flips it out to the left side, the 15-yard line, and they'll be run out of bounds there. The running back will. That was Connor Bragg on the carry there, and he'll maybe lose a yard there.
It's pretty funny because it was almost the exact same play that Centerville just ran, the lead option.
They're going to have a holding call, looks like, Coach.
And that may be declined because they held him for no gain here, so it'll be an interesting call here by Coach Hardy.
Let's see what they do with the football. And it looks like they're going to mark it off, looks like.
It's understandable. They're in the red zone here, so you want to march them back anytime you can. But Hunter Free did a good job running the alley from his free safety spot to make that tackle on the option pitch.
So a first down and 20 now for the Joaquin Rams from the 24-yard line of Centerville. Wilkerson has it back behind him. He'll turn around and hand it off to Gates, and Gates will drive forward up to about the 16-yard line.
Another misdirection trap by the Rams, and it's a good play call on first down and long. And he was able to get some of that yardage back. He'll be second and 12.
Yeah, pickup of 8 there by Gates, and there's a lot of misdirection that we've seen, and that's what we see a lot of times from these T-style offenses.
Absolutely, and as effective as they are running the football, they never like to be in first, second, or third and long, but they got some of that yardage back. One receiver out to the right side, and Wilkerson drops back to pass and gets his pass away, and it goes out of bounds, incomplete. Not what you'll see very often from Joaquin throwing the football, but Wilkerson sprinted out to his right and was attempting a flood route out there, and Centerville just had excellent coverage, and he just kind of basically threw the ball away. Talking to some of the Centerville coaches this week, they mapped out the plays for Joaquin and said they're 91% of the time they run the ball, so not just a pass heavy, and kind of like Centerville. Now Centerville may throw it just a little bit more. Especially here lately. In the last 2 or 3 games of the season, we've seen Centerville open it up and throw more. Wilkerson, again, on third and long, will hand off across the near side, and that is Bragg, and Bragg will be dropped for a loss behind the 15. That's a different look by Joaquin. They had a heavy formation to their left and ran jet sweep, a little handoff sweep to Bragg, and just couldn't fool Bird. He's as big a kid as he is, he still shows off his quickness and his good feet, and was able to get a big old paw on the back of his jersey and sling him to the ground.
4th down and 12 coming up for the Rams. Let's see what they do here if they decide to go for it or try to kick another field goal or have another field goal attempt. Ball spotted on the 17, just inside the 17-yard line. So it'll be looks like they're going to take a timeout and talk things over here, Coach.
Yeah, they let the clock run down. That was their game plan all along, and they're going to talk this over and see if they're going to go for it here because they're not traditionally a 4th and long kind of team as far as throwing the football, but I'm sure they're not sure after the last field goal a while ago whether this is the right call or not.
So 4th and long for the Rams as they take a timeout. We'll try to get you some updated scores from other teams in our area. We've got several games going on tonight over on our sister station, 92.7 FM. 2 games going on there. Lovelady on the FM side. Grapeland is on the AM side tonight, so 92.7 FM. You can find Lovelady and 1290 AM and 102.9 FM. You can find the Grapeland Sandys.
Yeah, currently we have Lovelady beating Alto 8-6 in the second quarter at this point, and Evadale and Grapeland are tied at 14-all. So Grapeland's made a nice comeback there. And of course, last night our Madisonville Mustangs with a big win against Hardin Jefferson, and of course the Franklin Lions with an exciting victory over Groesbeck. So some of our local teams were successful in the first round last night. So we're very excited for those teams and the coaches and their community.
Looks like Joaquin will go for it here on 4th down and a long 12. Wilkerson takes a snap, drops back to pass, rolling out to his right side, sets his feet, now pressure, gets his pass away back toward the end zone, got a man wide open. Oh, it's almost intercepted. Boy, he came out of nowhere. Was that Cade Pate?
It was, Tommy.
He came out of nowhere and almost picked that ball off. I saw 2 receivers in the back of the end zone, and there wasn't anybody around him when that pass was thrown, when the pass was let go. And by the time the pass got there, Pate almost picked it off.
Yeah, he showed his speed there, and of course Wilkerson was rolling out to his right on a little bootleg and tried to throw the ball across the football field, which is a difficult throw across his body and across the field, and you saw what I saw, which was open receivers, but the ball was just in the air too long, and Pate did a good job knocking that thing down. 1st and 10 for the Tigers from the 17-yard line. Back behind Free, he'll turn around, hand it off to that back, and he'll be hit. I think that was Gunzelman hit as he crosses the line and might have lost a yard on the play. No, that was Madison that got the carry. And that was Casey Yates on the tackle again. We've called his name several times. And what they're doing is that lead blocker that's coming in, they're just blowing that thing up by attacking his knee and thigh pad and really just creating a pile there where Madison has trouble getting through it and around it.
Well, that may invite Centerville to start running around the outside a little bit more, you think?
Absolutely.
One receiver out to the left side this time. Bird in motion left side. They'll hand off once again, and a short gain there. That was Madison again on the carry.
It was. This time it was a misdirection tackle trap as Bird was going in motion, because often they run that toss sweep when Bird goes in motion. So a good play call, but it didn't fool anybody for Joaquin, and big number 56 for Joaquin was on the tackle there. He looks like one of their tackles. That's Zachary Bell, 292-pound senior. He's a load.
So 1 yard gain there, a 3rd down and 9 coming up for the Tigers from the 18-yard line.
Once again, a 3rd and long, which is not what either of these teams are comfortable with their offense.
2 receivers out left side. Free fakes this pitch, throws it out to Bird. Bird with the catch at the line of scrimmage and trying to pile forward, dragging a couple of tacklers with him, gets the ball down to the 25-yard line. But he's going to be about a yard short of the 1st down, depending on the spot here.
Still a fine effort there by Bird, because he looked to be stopped for about a 2 or 3 yard gain, and that's just the difference of playoff football. You can just tell there's just extra motivation, extra energy, and he broke several tackles and was giving it everything he got. But Ian Shahan was on the tackle for the Rams to stop him short.
Going to be a yard short of the 1st down, so 4th and 1. Tigers will punt it away. Hunter Free back to punt, and Connor Bragg will receive it for Joaquin. Sets up on their 44-yard line. Good snap back to Free. A little bit of pressure, but he gets a kick away and a nice punt. Bragg will call for the fair catch, then drops the ball at the 40, and I think he fell back on it. He did. Boy.
What a fortunate bounce for the Rams, and he could see the Tigers coming down the field. I thought he was going to fair catch that thing as high as that ball was kicked, but that was a 35-yard punt, but the hang time was the most important aspect of that punt, and the Rams just escaped a real serious situation there.
First down and 10 for Joaquin at their own 40-yard line. Boy, if that thing would have just maybe hit on one end or the other, it could have just easily bounced right out, and Centerville would have had a turnover there.
You just never know with the turf where it's going to bounce.
Wilkerson under center, turns around, now keeps it himself, follows it back through the hole, and will drive forward for a couple of yards there up to the 43-yard line, pick up about 3 there.
That's Cade Pate on the tackle, and you called the play exactly right. That's called a quarterback follow, and he just got in right behind that fullback who he faked the ball to, and he turns out to be the lead blocker for him, but the Tigers did a pretty good job stuffing that thing.
Gain of 3 makes a second down and 7 here for Joaquin. 7:53 remaining in the first half. Centerville leads at 7-0. One receiver out to the left side. 2 backs behind Wilkerson. He'll turn around, hand it off on a counter again, and boy, he is lit up. Connor Bragg didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose a yard on the carry.
It's Daniel Bird and company. Not fooled on that misdirection trap. And Joaquin has drove the ball the first 2 drives, but have come up short once they got into the red zone. And, of course, Centerville got their first score on their first drive. So it looks like the defense is starting to step up just a little bit and slow this thing down.
3rd down and 8 here for the Rams from their own 42-yard line. Clock running with 7:08 left to go in the first half. Wilkerson has a man in motion, turns around, now hands it off inside, and Hunter Gates is hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to lose a yard. Looked like he might have ran into one of his own linemen there. It looked like he kind of had his head down a little bit and hit into the back of one of his own linemen, and then took a couple of steps back, and before he could get anywhere, he was tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
But the bottom line is, and you called it right there, Tommy, is their offensive line is getting pushed back somewhat, and I would say the physical aspect of this football game is being won by the Tigers up front so far in the trenches, and by pushing that offensive lineman back, that's why Gates ran into the back of his own lineman. He really had nowhere to go.
Official timeout on the field as they check on a player. Looks like he's going to get up on his own strength and head off to the sideline for Joaquin.
And I think that's the lineman that got ran into, so he kind of got hit on both sides, but he looks like he's going to be okay.
Zachary Bell, one of the big guys for Joaquin, 5'8", 292-pound senior.
Yeah, they're not real tall, but they are thick, that's for sure.
Lane Bates, one of the other linemen, 5'11", 287.
Yeah, and they got a tight end over there that's 6'4", 220, so they've got size up front, but Centerville really doing a good job in the trenches of just penetrating and holding their gaps.
4th down and 8 for Joaquin. They'll punt it away. Hunter Free back deep to receive the punt for the Tigers. Free sitting up on his 30-yard line. Usually don't see a return from Centerville. As they get the punt away, Free will go over and watch this one bounce around the 24-yard line and will roll out of bounds inside the 20.
Yeah, 40-yard punt by the Rams with the no return.
So Tigers get the ball back. 1st and 10 on the 19-yard line.
And a big moment in this game is when the Tigers returned the ball over in their own red zone, and Joaquin couldn't capitalize on that. So Centerville narrowly escaped that situation and got the lead. So with just 6 minutes to go in the half, 6:31 to be exact, Tigers are in good position if they could just get a nice sustained drive to go in with a comfortable lead.
Coach, we've been playing football for just about 30 minutes here, and we're already halfway through the second quarter.
Absolutely.
Tigers come up to the line of scrimmage. 3 backs behind Free. He'll turn around, hand it off to Madison. Madison bounces off a tackler, gets up to the 20-yard line, so a gain of about a yard there by Madison.
And what we're seeing now is all the interior run plays. There's lots of defenders in the backfield. So these defenses are starting to flex their muscle, so to speak, and Joaquin is kind of settling in, and so is Centerville. So it could be just a slugfest here the rest of the way.
So in that kind of situation, Coach, do you keep pounding inside and try to wear the other team down, or you start flaring the ball outside a little bit and try to outrun them?
Yeah, it's a great question, and what both teams are used to doing is being effective with that type of run. So they don't want to get away from it too soon in the game. But in the end, if you can't make any positive yards, you do have to go to some of your other wrinkles.
Timeout taken by Centerville here with 5:47 remaining in the first half. Let's take a 30-second break. Be back with more Centerville Tiger playoff football here on KMVL right after this. Welcome back to Tyler All Saints High School. 7-0 is your score here in the second quarter with 5:47 remaining. Centerville Tigers leading the Joaquin Rams in this by-district game. A couple of very good teams coming in to this by-district round that, hadn't been playing extremely probably where they wanted to be all season, but, as far as Centerville goes, coming on real strong the last 2 games of the year, and talking to some of their coaches, really feel like they're getting back to where they think they need to be going into the playoffs.
They feel like they're peaking at the right time, and of course Joaquin thinks the same thing as well, because they played a very competitive game with St. Augustine, who hadn't lost a game this year, and of course won all their other games in district. So they're a super football team as well. 2nd
down and 9 for the Tigers. Handoff to Madison coming right side. Gets to a couple of tackles, 25-yard line. Trying to step through another, but he's going to be tackled at the 26, 27-yard line. Pickup of about 7 yards there for Madison, and he's going to be about a yard short, maybe 2 yards short of the first down.
That's the beauty of Madison. You can bottle him up, and all of a sudden he can just break free, and with his downhill speed, he can take it to the house anytime he touches the football. But good job by the safety there. That's Hunter Gates, and of course we're calling a lot of the same names on both sides. That's because they're the frontline players that are making the big plays.
Zarate, the receiver, out to the left side. 3rd down and 2 now. Handoff Gunzelman left side. Gunzelman will dive forward, and he will have the 30-yard line, and I think he will have the first down. Gunzelman, one of the unsung heroes on the Centerville Tiger team. Boy, he had a big game against Groveton, really led the way against the Groveton Indians.
He did, Tommy. Madison was hurt, but was banged up that night, and he's so low to the ground, and he just doesn't get a lot of fanfare, but I tell you, he's a very important part of their offense.
And they will move the chains. Gunzelman brought down right just short of the 30-yard line, and enough for the first down without the measurement. So Centerville 1st and 10 from their own 29. One receiver out to the left side this time. That is Vardaman. Man in motion, Masson. He'll take the pitch. Going left side, trying to turn the corner. Has the 30, and through a tackle to the 35-yard line. Gets up to the 36 before he's brought down.
It's a real physical game so far. Every tackle on both sides are physical plays, and you called it a while ago, Tommy. Should we go outside a little bit? And on that play, you could see that Brandon was going to get the corner, and he got a positive game. It looks like we have a penalty.
Yep, didn't see the flag come in. Looks like this is going to come back, though. And it's going to be holding against the Centerville Tigers.
And that's perimeter blocking on the holding. That got Masson free on the outside. And little penalties and little turnovers, they're all magnified in these playoff games for sure.
That'll move them back to the 19-yard line. It's going to be a 1st down and 20 now for the Tigers. And we may see if Centerville might put the ball in the air a little bit here on a 1st and 20. Or maybe even go outside. You got a couple of options here. Or, just keep busting it up the middle and wearing them down.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just their offense, so we'll see what they do here.
One receiver out to the right side. Gunzelman moves over to the right side of Free. Madison goes in motion. They'll inside handoff to Bird. Bird cuts it up. Bird with a little bit of room across the 25, close to the 30-yard line. He'll pick up about 10 yards there, running through people over the left side.
Different look there by the Tigers. It ended up being a very familiar play, which is their misdirection tackle trap, but they shifted the fullback over, Gunzelman, and made it seem like they were going to run toss to Brandon Madison. And, of course, a fine job by Bird. And really patience on that play as well. He got behind blockers and was able to get a lot of that yardage back.
Picked up 10, 2nd down and 10 now for the Tigers from the 30-yard line. One receiver out right side. That is Cade Pate, I believe. Split backs behind Free. Bird in motion. They'll pitch it back to Madison. He dropped the ball and then just kind of bobbled the ball, but then got control of it, but then lost 5 yards as he was trying to get the ball back under control.
Once he got control of it, Casey Yates was in the backfield and was able to get a piece of it and just knock him off his feet, and he fell down for a 5-yard loss. So just a tough situation there for the Tigers. Some productive plays, but just never had quite control of that football.
3rd and 14 coming up now for Centerville. So Roddy coming in from the sideline along with Free. 10 seconds on the play clock. Tigers going to have to rush to get this one off. Come up to the line of scrimmage with 5 seconds left. 4 seconds. Free under center. 2 seconds. 1 second. They get the snap off. They pitch it out to Madison going left side. Madison turns it up. Madison runs over a tackler. Gets up to the 34-yard line. And will pick up about 10 yards, but they're going to be about 5 yards short of the first down.
Wow, that was a physical run by Madison. We've seen some great runs out of him this year, but even though they didn't get the first down, that just showed some explosiveness from him, and golly, he just lowered his shoulder and and made that defender pay for tackling him.
4th down and 6 now for the Tigers. Free will punt it away. And Connor Bragg, I believe, that's Connor Bragg back to receive the punt. They're throwing one more guy back there as well. Free sets up at the 20. Good snap back to him. Rush up the middle, but gets the punt away. A lower line drive kick. This is returnable. They'll catch it at the 35-yard line. One man missed, and another man missed from behind. He's got some room to run. 30, 25, 20. He's going to break free. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. I don't see a flag on the field, but Coach, I saw a clip at the 50-yard line, but no flags on the field, and Joaquin is on the board.
That's Trey Wilkerson, the quarterback, who just slipped back there to make it a two-man return team for the Rams right at the last second, and the ball was kicked on a line right to him, and he returned that thing about, 62 yards for the score. And I know with the play you were talking about, you could see the clip possibly taking place, and the referee just didn't see it as enough contact. But either way, the Rams are on the board on a special teams touchdown.
Jesus Bravo will come in for the extra point attempt. Bravo missed a field goal earlier in the first quarter.
Wilkerson showed some speed there, Tommy.
Yeah, he did. Ramsey will hold. Well, he took off down the right sideline. Good snap back. The kick is up, and this one looks like it is good. It is good. 7-7. Now your score as Joaquin ties it up on the kickoff or punt return for the touchdown. We'll take a 1-minute break. Come back with a Joaquin Ram kickoff here on KMVL after this. Welcome back to All Saints High School. 7-7 is your score. Joaquin Rams tied up on a punt return for a touchdown as they get ready to kick it off to the Centerville Tigers. Brandon Madison back deep for the Tigers along with Cade Pate as Bravo gets ready to kick it away. And this is an onside kick, and one of the Centerville Tiger front linemen is going to fall on this one. Great job there. Everybody else from Centerville went back, started taking off, running down the field. There was one guy in the middle, and we'll see who that was, that started back, then turned around and looked at the ball, and then came back up and charged it.
That's Gabe Costello for the Tigers, and what a fine job. And that's always a scary moment for a lineman, interior player, when the ball's coming to you, because you know everybody's fixing to pile on and hit you. But he took one for the team and rolled up on it, and gave the Tigers great field position.
Great job by Costello right there, just saving a turnover there for the Tigers. Everybody else was turned around, running back down the field, and he just kind of looked back and saw the onside kick coming and went back to the ball and fell on it. Free will turn around, drop back to pass. Looking right side, gets his pass way deep down the field. Double coverage, and it is incomplete. That was almost picked off. Throwing it intended for Jason Zarate, I believe. Yeah, that was Zarate down there, but Zarate was double covered. And one of those guys almost came up with the ball.
And you can almost argue that Zarate was over the back as he was playing defense more than playing offense, just to prevent that interception.
2nd down and 10 coming. Had Daniel Bird in the flat, but Bird was covered up. And so Free looked downfield and let it air out. Zarate, the receiver, out to the left side this time. Bird coming out to the right side. Split backs behind Free. Now Bird goes in motion right to left. And flags come in. Free drops back to pass. Pressure on. They'll let this play go. It's going to be defensive offsides, and Free will throw it away.
No question that Joaquin jumped before the ball was snapped and was in the neutral zone. So he basically, this is going to be a punt here. Free had a free play, so just didn't have anybody to cut it loose to. But typically on a play like that, when you know somebody's offside on defense, you turn that thing loose and throw it deep, and knowing that you've already got the penalty in your hip pocket.
Mark all 5 yards against the Rams. It'll be a 2nd down and 5 coming up for the Centerville Tigers from the 48-yard line. 7-7 is your score here in the second quarter with 1:14 remaining in the first half.
Absolutely. I bought a soda before the game. It's still going to be cold by the time this thing's over with.
Only 45 minutes gone off the game clock. Off the, not the game clock, the real clock. One receiver out right side. Free, drops back to pass again. Rolling right, has a man on him, gets the pass away, caught at the 48-yard line, breaking a couple of tackles across the 40 down to the 37-yard line. And that was a new guy.
That's Gabe Costello. How about Gabe? He recovered the fumble on the kickoff and came in at fullback on that play, was sitting out all alone in the flat, made a fine catch and a first down.
That was Costello was the guy that made the onside kick. And they'll run up to the line of scrimmage quickly and get this snap away, and Madison's going to be tackled right there at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
That's Juan Gomez on the tackle. We got 2 number 7s. I think that might have been, yeah, that's Boogie Lane on the tackle for the Joaquin Rams. They got 2 number 7s, and I believe that was Boogie on the tackle, and he made a fine play. He shed that blocker, was in the backfield, and Madison had nowhere to go.
Centerville is going to take a timeout here with 46 seconds remaining in the first half. They'll have it 2nd down and 10 from the Joaquin 36-yard line. Tigers try to conserve some time right here to score before the half. 7-7 is your score.
We'll look at some scores here, Tommy, if you want me to, real quick.
You bet.
Lovelady's still up, 8-6 at halftime over Alto. College Station 48-0 over Jacksonville. The Sandys, Grapeland, and Everdale are tied at halftime, 14-14. Milano 21-0 over Dehanas, second quarter. And Somerville on top of La Pryor, 9-6. So good job by the Yewas. And let me see, A&M Consol up 7-0 over White House. Navasota trailing Henderson 10-7. And we'll get more scores at halftime and some scores from last night.
Oakwood Panthers with a big upset last night, 6-man football in Centerville, defeating Calvert. A lot of lines I saw in that game had Calvert favored by about 20 points, and Oakwood came back late in that ball game. They were down 50-32, and late in the third quarter come back to win it 54-50.
Congratulations to Oakwood.
2nd down and 10 here for the Tigers. One receiver out left side as Free comes up and lines his backs up behind him. Has the snap, hands off on an end around or a halfback option to pass, and the pass is just a little bit underthrown as Bird took the pitch, and he was throwing it down the field to Madison, but just a little bit short.
That was a little trick play by the Tigers, and that was the nub tight end who doesn't get the ball thrown to him very often by the Tigers, was able to sneak out there and had a little opening, but just couldn't get the ball to him.
3rd down and 10 coming up as the clock stops with 41 seconds remaining here in the first half. 7-7 the score. Ball's on the 36-yard line. One receiver out to the right side here for the Tigers. Split backs once again behind Free. Now Bird in motion, going left to right. Pitch back to Madison, coming right side. Madison across the 35, down to the 30, makes one miss. There's another one down to the 25-yard line, and he will have the first down.
Just good all-around run by Madison, breaking tackle, stiff arming, trying to get out of bounds, but Joaquin wouldn't let him happen, so they're going to spike the football here.
Free comes up and spikes the ball on 1st down to stop the clock. With 31 seconds remaining, still plenty of time here.
There is, and I'm trying to check and see what the timeouts are on the board up there, and doesn't really say, but
I think Centerville's only called one timeout.
I believe so. If I was a betting man, I'd say they have 2 left, and
I think Joaquin has called a timeout as well. Free brings his team up to the ball once again. Bird goes in motion, running left side. Pitch back to Madison, going left. Madison looking for a hole. They stretch him out. Now turns it up. He's going to be dropped at the 23 after a gain of about 2 yards.
Clock's still moving, but they're finally going to call a timeout here.
Centerville uses what we think is their 2nd timeout of the game after Madison gains 2 on the carry up to the 23-yard line,
which would be a 40-yard field goal. So I know Centerville wants to get this thing closer. If they can't score a touchdown, get it in the middle of the football field, probably would be the game plan here on 3rd down and 8, and try to probably call 2 plays here, Tommy, honestly, if they're going to go for it, but and then possibly get in a position to call their last time out and kick a field goal.
Now, the referee just made a signal toward the Centerville side. I didn't see what he was signaling there.
Just a short timeout, like a 30-second timeout.
Gotcha. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Tigers from the 23-yard line. Joaquin Rams already back up on the field, lining up on defense.
And I would say they're not quite in field goal range, the Tigers, so another 10 yards would really be beneficial.
Last-minute instruction given to Hunter Free by Coach Robinson as they huddle up here on 3rd down.
looked like we're going to have a lot of scoring early in this game, the way the teams were moving the
really
football
did.
field. But now it's turned out to be what we really thought, which is just a grinded out, a very physical football game.
One receiver off to the left side. Free checks the backs behind him. Now Madison goes in motion as a receiver to the right side. Free drops back to pass, looking left side. Now rolls out to the right side, throws the ball out to Madison. Madison makes one man miss and then runs out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. Madison just kind of hung out there on the right side, didn't really go anywhere, and waited for Free to kind of roll his way, like maybe kind of an option type play there. But Centerville will try for a field goal here.
It'll be 41 yards. Yeah, they were looking for that tight end slipping out down the seam there, but he was well covered, and Free just had to throw it to his safety valve, which was Madison out here in the flat, and Bird's going to attempt a long field goal.
We've got 15 seconds remaining here in the half. Low snap, back to Free. Bird gets his kick away, but this one's no good. The snap actually flared out to the right side. Free had to dive for it to pull it back in, and couldn't get the ball back down set enough as Bird was on him, and the kick was no good. And it's like Bird might have I don't know if he's trying to catch his breath or pulled up lame there. But Joaquin will have the ball 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line.
Yeah, the timing of that was just never on point once once the snap was dropped, and Bird attempted to kick it anyway, but you have to go ahead and try to kick it because the defense is coming right at you. Looks like Joaquin's going to call a timeout.
So with 15 seconds remaining, actually 13 seconds remaining, Joaquin takes their second timeout. Let's take a 30-second break. Be back with more Tiger playoff football here on KMVL after this. Welcome back to All Saints High School here in Tyler. 7-7 is your score. 13 seconds remaining in the first half. Centerville Tigers and the Joaquin Rams all knotted up. Joaquin calling the timeout before their final drive here in the half. As they rush up to the line of scrimmage, Wilkerson under center. Turns around and hands the ball off to someone. Now there comes the ball in a good run across midfield. The 45, the 40 going the other way. Now cuts it back up, and instead of going out of bounds, gets it down to the 30-yard line. Let's see, they'll call their last timeout. That was Case Yates on the run, and a good run there, down to the 30-yard line.
Quick trap to him in the fullback position. That's a great call, knowing that you're probably going to sit on the ball or maybe actually kneel it right before the half, and he was able to break free, and Joaquin quickly called a timeout once he was tackled with 2.9 seconds to go, and this would be a 47-yard field goal from this spot, but Joaquin may just draw up one last play, a little jump ball in the end zone or something to try to possibly draw a penalty or possibly get a touchdown.
Gain of 39 yards there on the run by Yates. And
he's been all over the field tonight. Lots of tackles on defense and some fine runs. So he's definitely made his name known here in the first half.
Let's see what Joaquin's going to do on their last play from offense.
And they got a big receiver over here, number 11. He was one of the captains tonight. And that's Keith Johnson, 6'2", 180. And you would think maybe they would try to get the ball in his hands down the field, being a tall receiver.
1st and 10 from the Tiger 30-yard line as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Wilkerson drops back to pass, rolling out right side. Got a couple of guys down there, but they're covered. Gets his pass away. It is almost intercepted by Hunter Free. Pass goes incomplete, and that will bring it in to our first half. 7-7 is your score at the half. Centerville Tigers and the Joaquin Rams all knotted up. Why don't we take a 2-minute break, hear a word from some of our sponsors, be back with some first half stats after this. Welcome back to All Saints High School here in Tyler. 7-7 is your score at the half. I'm Tommy Davis along with Coach Rick Prater. And, Coach, it's kind of been what we expected, a quick first half. Everything, for the most part, being kept on the ground. We've gone through 2 quarters of football, and we're not even at the 1 hour mark yet.
Exactly what we thought it would be. And Centerville came out and took the ball down the field on their first drive and looked really, really nice on that drive. And Joaquin got the ball back and drove the length of the field, but stalled out in their own at the red zone, and we felt like the offense just maybe going to play a dominant role tonight. But after that, the defense have flexed their muscle a little bit. There's been some big plays since then on offense, but for the most part, it's just been a physical game, a running game, and Centerville has thrown the ball a little bit more than Joaquin and completed some passes to Daniel Bird, and it's just been everything we thought. A real physical game. Both teams are going to be very sore after this one tonight for sure.
Looking at the first half stats for these two teams, for the Joaquin Rams, Trey Wilkerson, the quarterback, 0 for 3 throwing the ball. On the ground, Wilkerson has 1 carry for 3 yards. Hunter Gates, 7 carries, 18 yards. Lorenzo Lane, 1 carry for -1. Connor Bragg, 3 carries for 30 yards. And Case Yates, a carry for 39 yards. Overall, team stats for Joaquin, I've just got them for 2 first downs in the first half.
Wow.
The one on the long run here, and I don't know where the other one came in on, but just 2 first downs for Joaquin in the first half. Both of them on the ground. They're 0 for 3 on third downs, 0 for 1 on fourth down, 89 total yards for the Rams.
Yeah, the truth is they did drive the length of the football field the first drive, but their second drive actually came from a Centerville fumble, so they did have a short field.
Yep.
And I kind of let that distort my thinking that Joaquin had moved the ball on several drives, but really it was just one drive. And then the second drive was just from a short distance, and they weren't able to capitalize after that penalty. So
and the touchdown came on the punt return.
On a special teams touchdown. So
yep.
Special teams always plays a huge role in playoffs. We always say as coaches, there's 3 parts of the game, and it's equally just as important as offense and defense. So fortunately for Joaquin, special teams has been in their favor so far.
So 89 yards of offense from Joaquin, all on the ground, 13 rushing attempts. They're averaging almost, not quite 7 yards per carry. They've had 2 penalties for 15 yards, 1 offensive and 1 defensive, and 1 extra point from the special teams. 0 for 1 on field goals, 1 punt for 39 yards. Time of possession, about 7 minutes and 50 seconds. So that's the first half stats for the Joaquin Rams. Why don't we take another 2-minute break, come back, and we'll give you the first half stats for the Centerville Tigers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Tyler, Texas here at All Saints High School. 7-7 is your score at the half. Centerville Tigers and the Joaquin Rams all knotted up. Gave you the first half stats for Joaquin. Now let's take a look at the Centerville Tigers. Quarterback Hunter Free, 6 of 8 throwing the ball tonight for 47 yards. Daniel Bird is 0 for 1. On the ground, Calvin Gunzelman, 3 carries for 13 yards. Roland Davis had 1 for 2 yards. Brandon Madison had 15 carries for 48 yards. And Daniel Bird had 3 carries for 11 yards. Through the air, Gabe Castillo had a catch for 12. Madison had a catch for -1. Daniel Bird had 3 catches for 28. Actually, I believe 4 catches for 36 yards for Daniel Bird. Looking at the team stats for Centerville, Tigers had 8 first downs in the first half, 3 of those through the air, 5 on the ground. They were 5 of 8 on third down compared to 0 for 3 for Joaquin. Centerville with 106 yards of offense in the first half, 47 through the air, 59 on the ground. Centerville averaging on the ground about 2.5 yards per carry. So Joaquin with the bigger average on the yards per carry, but Centerville a lot more snaps there in the first half. Centerville 4 penalties for 25 yards, 2 offensive and 2 defensive. They've had 1 turnover that did not result in a touchdown. Centerville held them inside the red zone, and Centerville 1 extra point attempt from the special teams. They've had 2 punts of 63 yards, averaging a little over 31 yards per punt, and time of possession heavily in Centerville's favor. It's a little over 16 minutes for Centerville compared to almost 8 minutes for Joaquin.
Yeah, Centerville has definitely controlled the football and sustained the ball more than Joaquin, and seem to be a little more physical up front, but it's still an even matchup no matter how you look at it, because Joaquin with 90 yards offense and Centerville with 106 roughly. So the key for Joaquin was the game plan was to try to slow down Madison. So 15 carries for 48 yards, I think you had.
Yeah, 48 yards. Yep.
That's 3 yards a pop. So that's definitely under Brandon's average by far. So you got to say that's a victory for Joaquin in the first half as far as statistically Brandon Madison. But Hunter Free has made some good throws to kind of balance out their offense attack. But in the long run, Centerville wants to run the football, continue leaning on them. And with that time of possession, I think Centerville's hoping that they're going to start wearing them down a little bit in the second half. But it's going to come down to mistakes. And that's what playoff football how it usually happens. And Joaquin had a nice fumble recovery in the red zone, but wasn't able to capitalize. So that's a big stand for Centerville's defense. And, of course, the special teams touchdown has kept them in the game as far as the scoreboard is concerned. So both teams are in the locker room right now, Tommy, and they're looking at their game plan and see if there needs to be tweaked or anything. Neither one of these teams are going to get away from what they do. They do what they do, and that's what they're going to continue doing, which is run the football predominantly. Centerville is pretty well 50-50 with the yardage on throwing and running, but you'll still see them run the football more. And just knowing that Madison, even though he's been bogged down somewhat here in the first half, he can still be a game changer and a home run hitter anytime he touches the football.
Coach, looking at the drive summaries for Joaquin, they've had 4 drives here in the first half. The first one was an 8-play drive that went 51 yards. That's where they had one of their first downs. Their second drive went 4 plays for -3 and turned it over on downs. Their third drive was only a 3-play drive for 2 yards. And then that last drive, the one that ended the half, was 2 plays for 39 yards.
And one thing that stands out, there's just not many possessions for the teams, and that's the way it's going to be here, the way they run the football and the clock is moving. But the 4-play drive for -3 was definitely the one after they got the fumble and was not able to do anything with it and, of course, missed the field goal. And then they had another drive where they didn't get anything, and then they had the big run on that quick trap right before halftime, which got them a first down and possibly in scoring position, but just didn't have enough time to do anything with it.
We looked at the Centerville Tiger drive summary. Their first drive was 10 plays for 50 yards. It ended in a touchdown. Second drive was 5 plays for 9 yards. It ended in a fumble. Third drive was 3 plays of 9 yards. They punted that one away. Fourth drive was 6 plays of 14 yards. That was the punt that got returned for a touchdown. And then their fifth drive was 9 plays for 29 yards. It ended in a missed field goal.
And, of course, we're talking about offense, but the bottom line is it's been a defensive first half. And both teams game planned well on defense to stop these rushing attacks, and they're executing their game plan. So it's going to come down to which offense can make that big play here in the second half, and maybe a defense can cause a turnover or get a score themselves to possibly win this football game for either team. So it's going to be a tight one. It's because the styles are similar, and they're just clashing out there on the football field. And these kids are just giving it all they got, and they're going at it out there between the lines, and it's going to be a close one all the way. You can just tell.
The two scores for these two teams, Centerville, their scoring play was a handoff to Brandon Madison, who ran the ball in from 6 yards out. Daniel Bird with the extra point there. And then for Joaquin, Trey Wilkerson with the punt return for a touchdown, and Jesus Bravo made the extra point to tie it up at 7 apiece. So that's where we're at, 7-7 here at the half in Tyler. Let's take another 2-minute break. When we come back, we'll try to give you some area scores. So stay with us. We'll be back after this. 7-7 your score here at the half. The Centerville Tigers and the Joaquin Rams all tied up. As we take a look at some area scores, and some of them in this district, Coach. I know that Lovelady's playing tonight and Groveton playing tomorrow night. That game will be on KIVY 92.7 FM, our sister station over in Crockett. So the Indians will be on the air tomorrow night. But what do you have for us so far tonight?
We have Alto just went on the scoreboard to take the lead over Lovelady, 12-8. They're just getting started in the third quarter. That was an 8-6 halftime score, but Alto's gone out front. So that's two of the teams from each one of these districts that are going head-to-head, and we knew that would be a super game. Also got Grapeland tied with Evadale 14 at halftime, and good job by the Sandys coming back in that one. Milano, team we haven't talked about a whole lot this year, but what a tremendous season they've had over there. The Eagles are number 10 in the state, and they're leading 21-0 over Dehanas at halftime. Let me see, Somerville's now trailing LaPrire 12-9 at halftime. Mentioned before, A&M Consolidated up 7-0 over White House. Navasota trailing Henderson 17-14 at half. That should be a super game. And the Huntsville Hornets are trailing Georgetown 16-7 second quarter. How about this score? Rockdale 28, Malakoff number 5 in the state 20.
Wow, how about that?
Second quarter, almost halftime. And that's another one of those games where you say, wow, that's a shame that those two teams had to draw each other early in the playoffs, but it's just the way it happened. That's Rockdale losing Franklin for the district championship, and they drew Malakoff, who went deep in the playoffs last year and undefeated right now. We got an updated score. Evadale just went up on Grapeland, 21-14. So come on, Sandys, we're rooting for you. Let's get back in that one. And let me see other scores. Fairfield 27, getting 0 halftime. Good job by the Eagles. And another game going on between these two districts, and that's St. Augustine. They're all over Deweyville, 41-0 at halftime. So the Wolves are up to their winning ways as they are undefeated and looking to make it to the second round for sure. The Mart Panthers up 35-3 over Goldweight. That's near halftime. The Marlin Bulldogs trailing the Clifton Cubs 21-0. That's a halftime score. Hearn Eagles, what a great job by Coach Sargent over there. Winning district, upset Buffalo in that last game for the district championship. And I say it's an upset. Both teams have been playing great football, but he's really got that thing going in the right direction for Hearn, and leading 28-6 at halftime over Rio Vista. So we hope that Hearn continues their winning ways there. And, of course, I've got some yesterday scores. We want to have a timeout first? Or?
No, let's go ahead and get into them.
Okay. Cameron, Yo, and Teague, they lined up yesterday, and the Teague Lions was able to pull a 40-14 win there. So great job by the Lions. Of course, our own Franklin Lions in a thrilling scoreboard busting shooting just shoot both these teams were just scoring like crazy, but Franklin was able to outlast the Grosbeck Goats 63-49, and so they'll advance to the second round. Of course, the Madisonville Mustangs playoff victory last night, 42-20 over Hardin Jefferson. So Coach Rusty Nail,
boy, talk about another team that has just really turned it around.
Absolutely, and Coach Nail in his second year has led the Mustangs to a 9-1 season record, and of course now 1-0 in the playoffs, so double-digit wins for the Mustangs, and they'll once again survive and advance, just like we say in March Madness. So good job by Madisonville, and they've definitely turned their program around, season around, and we're just so happy for them. And the Corrigan Bulldogs are trailing 42-7 over West Rusk at that was a final from yesterday, and West Rusk, tongue-tied there. West Rusk, one of the top teams in the state. And speaking of Buffalo, the Buffalo Bison was able to win last night, 35-19 over the Mildred Eagles. So congratulations to Coach Grubbs and the Bison over there, and with their playoff victory in bi-district. And as you mentioned, Oakwood won their game yesterday in Centerville over Calvert, 54-50, and the Iowa Bulldogs 51-0 over Mount Enterprise yesterday. So congratulations to them. So you're always happy for the local teams that come up with a victory and get to advance to the next round of the playoffs. And, of course, as you mentioned, Tommy, Groveton will be playing Carlisle, two teams from these two districts respectively tomorrow. And should be another just dogfight of a football game. So there are really three of these games I kind of anticipated being very, very tight and close, and they are so far. So we've got some exciting football still left in this half, and I look forward to looking at all these other scores and see who advances.
Coach, just a little bit of information on the Madisonville Mustangs. This is only their third time in team history they've had double-digit wins after the win in the first round of the playoffs. That put them 10-1 on the year. Mustangs were 10-4 in 1959. They were the state semifinalists, and then 10-2-1 in 1984, where they made the regional playoffs.
Yes, and Madisonville's had quite a few playoff teams in the modern era, but not teams with double-digit wins or really advancing far in the playoffs. So that's two things going on with Madisonville right now. They're winning football games, they're in double-digit wins, and they're advancing in the playoffs. So they'll be off to the district. Let me see, what do they call second round of area round next week?
And they're going to be moving over to. They're going to be playing in Bryan at Merrill Green Stadium, and they'll play the winner of Caldwell and Lorena, who play tonight. A little more information on that game last night. Cornelius Merchant had 7 carries for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game last night.
I would say that's pretty good average per touch. So Madisonville really had it rolling, and really the score wasn't even as close as 42-20. They were up big in that game and maybe gave up a few scores late in that game.
Yeah, I don't think they gave up a touchdown until maybe late in the third quarter. I listened to that game coming back last night from Garland, and it was I think it was the third quarter, end of the third quarter maybe is when when they gave up the first touchdown, and that was, from what I understand, they had some of their second team in the game.
And that's what they hired Coach Rusty Nail for, was to lead these troops and bring his scheme and style of offense to the Madisonville Mustangs and his program, and it's paid off tremendously as he's turned this thing around only in his second year, and that's why he's one of the top coaches in the state. He's won multiple state championships with the Mart Panthers. He's been an offensive coordinator at Huntsville, at Marlin back in their heyday when they were making deep playoff runs, and so he was preparing himself for these situations, and he's just one of the best coaches around, plain and simple. He runs what we call a jet offense with the spread offense, and likes to run the football, likes to throw the football too. But as this season's turned out, and I read this quote from him the other day, we just what we'll do is what dictates what we're going to do mostly is just what we're more effective at. And this year it's been running the football out of the spread, and he's going to lean on that through the playoffs. And no matter how far they go, it's been a remarkable turnaround, and we're just hats off and to the Mustangs, the players and the coaches.
Talking a little more about these two teams here tonight, Joaquin and Centerville. Joaquin had 2 losses coming into the year. One of them was against the number 1 ranked Tenaha Tigers, the first game of the year that was played, and Joaquin lost that game. They were head in that ball game. They scored late in that game with 7 seconds remaining and went up, kicked off to Tenaha, and Tenaha ran the kickoff back for a touchdown with no time left. They had several laterals, one of those kickoffs that they throw the ball back and forth across the field, and winded up running the ball back for a touchdown with no time left to beat Joaquin. So the number 1 ranked team in the state beat them on a last, with no time left on a kickoff return for a touchdown. Their second loss came against St. Augustine, who at the time I think was ranked maybe 5 or 6 in the state. And St. Augustine won that game, and Joaquin had their top 3 running backs not even playing in that ball game.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a little history on what Joaquin has done this year. You take a look at the Centerville Tigers. Centerville has some struggles. They started off strong, had a little bit of a struggle, probably I would say after the Mart game, or at the Mart game. Of course, you're facing Mart. That's a top 5 team in the state right there when you're playing the Mart Panthers.
Absolutely, and after we watched that game, I couldn't imagine how there could be a team better than the Mart Panthers in Class 2A in the state of Texas. But they're undefeated, or maybe 1 loss this year, Mart. But that was a preseason loss to Lexington, who's number 1 in the state right now. So, and
they go down and play Thrall and have 3 turnovers that account for 21 points, and lose to a good Thrall team that's in the playoffs, this year.
Absolutely.
And ranked also. And then, of course, you had the hiccup. I say hiccup. After that, I was trying to remember who it was. I don't think it was Lovelady just yet that they played. Was it Lovelady? In district, Lovelady, a tri-district champion with Centerville and Groveton. But Lovelady playing, of course, Centerville and Lovelady always play tough. Lovelady had a great game plan going into that game, and of course, if you're on the Centerville side, you come out and say Centerville might have been flat, or Madison, their main running back, was hurt early on in that ball game, and that could account for something. But bottom line is, Lions had a good game plan coming into that game and played Centerville tooth and nail and took it to them that game. Absolutely,
and when you get 2 good teams like that, and one team plays a clean football game and really executes to perfection like Lovelady did, the surprise wasn't that Lovelady won. That's a 50-50 game in my mind. The surprise was the score of the football game, and I think they could play that game 10 times, and I think you could easily say 5 and 5 is a very possibility for either side. And you got to throw in Groveton as well with that, because all 3 of those teams are so closely. They're just they mirror each other, and they're very competitive, and either one of those teams can beat each other on a given night. So, that's why records are sometimes misleading, because obviously Joaquin could be 10-0 right now very easily, and Centerville, other than the Mart game was just really, they really took it to them that night and just showed off their dominance basically. But Centerville's, the 7-3 record is still a very respectable record, and they just they ran into some tough teams at the right time.
Yep.
And the bottom line is, how are you playing when you get to the playoffs? And Centerville's been playing well lately, and Joaquin as well. So that's why we have the score we have right here.
And that's what I was going to say. They kind of got, I don't know if you'd call it back on track, but really like they were flowing better against Groveton, and took Groveton to overtime and won that game, and then had Deweyville the last game of the season and easily won that game. But talking to some of the coaches and watching Centerville play, they really felt like the Groveton game is where they kind of started turning around and putting things back together and kind of peaking as they start the playoffs here. And you see that tonight. He talked to a lot of people this week, and they were kind of worried about Centerville coming into this game facing off against a top 10 team in Joaquin, and how Centerville would handle it after a couple of speed bumps in the season, and you come here and it's a 7-7 game.
It's part of the journey, and that's there's always going to be adversity during a season, no matter how good a team you are. And Centerville's obviously had some adversity throughout the season, but they've also righted the ship. And somebody's about to lose tonight, and only one team wins the state championship. So for a lot of teams, it's always a disappointment if you don't win at all. But either way, these are successful programs, so we're analyzing the heck out of it. But the truth is, they're both good football teams. Either team could win tonight and be deservingly so, and that's just the nature of the sudden death of playoffs. One team wins, one team goes home.
Back on the field, both teams now. So Joaquin will be taking the second half kickoff. Centerville kicking away. Let's go ahead and take a 30-second break. When we come back, we'll start the third quarter here from Tyler after this.
So much goes on in the summer and fall seasons, and at Davis Feed and Fertilizer, they have everything you need to get you through the rough spots. Postseason starts soon, so don't forget to stop by Davis Feed and Fertilizer for your honey license early. Avoid those lines. Cricket outbreaks are the most predictable pest events of late summer and fall, and they have all you'll need to handle outdoor living. Not to mention their website has just about all the information you'll ever need on all sorts of 5 seconds. Look them up on Facebook at Davis Feed Centerville.
7-7 your score as we get ready to start the third quarter here in Tyler. The Joaquin Rams will go back to take the third quarter kickoff. And I believe that is Connor Bragg back there to receive the kickoff. Daniel Bird will tee it up at the 40-yard line. Waiting for one more player to get out on the field for the Centerville Tigers. Good first half, good quick first half. Not a lot of mistakes. I think we only had maybe 6 penalties altogether in the first half, so not a whole lot of penalties, and pretty quick, less than an hour in the first half.
And neither one of these teams are known for turnovers either, so that's kind of their style of football, and that's why they're successful.
Daniel Bird ready to go as he gets his kick away. This will angle to the near side. Fair catch called for at the 38-yard line and made there by Lorenzo Boogie Lane. So 1st and 10 for Joaquin at the 40. We're going to wind up spotting this at the 40 or 37-yard line, looks like. 39-yard line is where they'll put it down.
And Joaquin's looking to sustain a drive like they did on their first possession. Other than that, they were really pretty much stymied the rest of the first half with Centerville's defense really doing a good job.
Keith Johnson, the single receiver out to the right side. Now man in motion. They'll hand off inside. No, he's going to keep the ball. Wilkerson does. Quarterback option, and he's going to be hit and dropped behind the line of scrimmage for a big loss back at the 30-yard line.
Wilkerson,
36.
Yeah, Wilkerson reversed out like he was going to hand the ball off and was going to run outside on an option play. And Daniel Bird was all in the backfield disrupting that thing. And he was very fortunate that he didn't turn the football over or at least take an even bigger loss. But not a good start for the Joaquin Rams on offense, but had a tremendous job for the Tigers.
Only going to give him a loss of 3 on that, so it's 2nd down and 13 coming up for Joaquin as they come back up to the line. Wilkerson pitches the ball back near side, and another loss, or maybe back to the line of scrimmage as another back is tackled there. That was Hunter Gates with the carry, but no go in there. Centerville defense stymies him again.
Sergi Villarreal on the tackle. Just really come knifing in there and made a good open field tackle, and 3rd and long for the Rams, which is not not their cup of tea here, so we'll see if they're going to run a misdirection play or try to throw the football.
3rd down and 12 here. They actually gave him a gain of a yard. Wilkerson under center. Turns around, drops back to pass. Rolling out to the right side, looking near side. Pressure on him. He's going to roll out to the right side now. Gets his pass away deep down the field. Got a man down there, and it's knocked away. And then a flag comes in at the 30-yard line. Oh, my goodness. Like the Centerville defender just reached up at the last second and got his hand in there and knocked the pass down, but a flag came in from this sideline.
Ooh, I don't agree with that one, Tommy.
That unless he had his opposite hand on him on the jersey, that looked clean. But pass interference is going to be the call on Centerville. And that's a big penalty there because that looked clean to me.
Looked like textbook coverage, but the bottom line is Wilkerson did a good job escaping pressure. They're not known for their pass blocking, and then he's had people in his face all night when they tried to throw the football, and he was able to escape. And he's got a good arm, and he turned the thing loose and had an open receiver. But the Centerville defender made a quick recovery and knocked the ball down. But the penalty is being marked off.
Only thing I can think of is he may have had the other hand pulling on the back of his jersey because the deflection was clean. I mean, he brought the hand up at the last second, knocked the ball away from the defender, and I didn't see any other contact, so it must have been just a hand inside.
Well, they didn't call pass interference because where the ball spotted, so it was probably holding is what they called on him.
Handoff coming near side. This one going to Bragg, and Bragg turns the corner, gets across the 45-yard line, and then knocked out of bounds at the 44, so a gain of 4 yards there.
Sergio Villarreal again on the tackle. Jet sweep run by the Joaquin Rams. Little under center quick handoff, and he made the corner, was able to get 4 yards.
2nd down and 6. Now for the Rams, as Wilkerson comes in from the sideline. We've got 10:24 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. 7-7 your score. Joaquin at the line of scrimmage. Wilkerson has a man in motion. An inside handoff and a good run right up the middle. He breaks it free. Runs into the official, now cuts it back, and he'll be tackled. That was Case Yates. And Yates, I think, would have been gone, but he ran to the official down in the secondary.
Hey, Yates shows some explosiveness on that particular play. It looked like a midline handoff, maybe a quick trap, but either way, he went right through the center, untouched, and as you said, the official probably prevented him from scoring a touchdown.
Gain of 22 there on the handoff to Yates. Gets the ball down to the 22-yard line.
I get the ball in his hands a little more often.
Wilkerson once again hands off across the right side. This one going to Bragg, and Bragg is pushed around in the backfield. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. Might have gained a yard there on the carry.
And another late flag over on the sideline of Joaquin. Could be a face mask or a horse collar.
And let's see here. Referee's talking it over here as he comes to the near side to make the call. Face mask.
That's the call, Tommy.
Against Centerville.
And they keep going back to that jet sweep, and it's not really been an effective play tonight, but they must see something I don't. But either way, they got the penalty, which is huge because this is going to take the ball. That's a 15-yard step off. That's going to take it down inside the 10.
Half the distance, so we'll put it down right there on the 10-yard line, looks like. So a 1st and goal now for Joaquin, and this drive has been aided by a couple of big penalties here. Wilkerson turns around, now keeps it himself, follows it back through the hole, and he'll get the ball down close to the 5-yard line. Boy, he is quick through that hole.
Yeah, that's a design play too there, Tommy. Just a quarterback follow right in behind the fullback dive, and you're right. He's quick. He carries his pads well, and they got 5 yards on that 1st down play.
So a 2nd and goal coming up.
And see, I don't see enough of this at play calling, but I'd go right back to the same play. I mean, if something works, try it again.
Wilkerson hands off this time, and the back through, I think that was Connor Bragg, will pick up, looks like maybe a yard, if that. Didn't get much off that carry.
Good job by the interior players for the Tigers.
They're going to spot him down at the 4-yard line, so a 3rd down and goal now. We'll see if the Tiger defense can hold here. 3rd down and goal for Joaquin. Wilkerson has a back behind him. And now Bragg goes in motion. They fake the handoff, pitch it out to Bragg, going right side, trying to turn the corner. He's going to be hit and dropped after a gain of maybe a yard.
I don't like that play call for sure, even though good news for the Tigers. That was a dangerous play. I mean, there's several things can go wrong there close to the goal line with the option pitch. Ball could be on the ground. Either way, the Tigers did a good job flowing on defense, and they're going to attempt a field goal.
Gain of 1 will bring up a 4th down and goal from the 3-yard line. And Jesus Bravo will come on to attempt the field goal here.
And although he missed the field goal a while ago in his extra point, he really kicked it nicely and boomed it, so he can definitely kick.
Ball is up, and this one looks like it went through. 10-0 or 10-7 is your score as Bravo punches the field goal through. Joaquin takes their first lead of the night. We'll take a 1-minute break. Come back with Joaquin Ram kickoff here on KMVL after this. Welcome back to Tyler, Texas, as we get ready for a Joaquin Ram kickoff. 10-7 is your score. 7:43 remaining here in the third quarter. Bravo with it teed up for the Rams. This one will be boomed down the left side. Madison will come up and field it on a hop at the 15-yard line. Coming near side. They stretch him out, has the 20, now the 25, the 30, down the right sideline, 35, 40, 45, and finally knocked out of bounds close to midfield, and a late flag comes in. That might be a hit out of bounds right there, Coach. They're going to mark him out at the 47-yard line, but let's see what the flag is here.
Definitely questionable. Some animated coaches for sure on the sideline for Centerville.
We'll wait to see what the call is here. If that is a personal foul, that'll tack on another 15 yards.
Either way, a fine run by Madison and a good wall set up by the Tigers special teams.
Referee coming over now to make the call. And it is a personal foul against Joaquin, so like a late hit out of bounds from where we were standing. They'll mark it off from the end of the run, which is around the 47-yard line.
Wow, all the way down inside the 40, Tommy.
So the Tigers in great field position now.
They needed that. Joaquin took the ball down the field after a few penalties by the Tigers, and Centerville's in business on offense.
One receiver left side. They'll hand off up the middle, and a good run there by, I think, Gulzeman was the man on that carry. Across the 30, down inside the 30 into the 26-yard line.
Boy, you said it best in the first half, TD, about him being the unsung hero sometimes, and he got behind there. Basically played like a tailback there, a little fullback lead, and got a first down for the Tigers, and they're at the 26.
Pickup of 11 there on the carry by Gunzelman. I'd like to see a little bit more of him here in the second half. Gunzelman, the one back behind Free. Bird in motion. Free turns around, hands it to Gunzelman again, going left side behind the big line. He'll squirt forward for another good gain down to the 21-yard line.
He just seems to spark the offense at times because he's obviously not a real big kid, but boy, he just runs so hard and he just never gives up on a play.
Joaquin Rams have a player just a little bit slow to get up as they go and check on him. That gain by Gunzelman good for 6 yards. Tigers will have a 2nd down and 4 coming up from the 21-yard line as they stop the clock. 27-14 Evadale after 3 quarters over Grapeland. Standings are inside the 15-yard line, though. Rockdale with a 38-yard field goal in the last play of the half. Rockdale leads Malakoff 31-20. According to Lonnie Hunt, who sent us that information.
And Lovelady just went back up front on Alto, 14-12, start of the fourth quarter. So come on, Lions, we're rooting for you.
Good back and forth game there with Lovelady and Alto, and that game being played over at Westwood High School tonight in Palestine. We've got 7:01 remaining in the third quarter here. Centerville will have it 2nd down and 4 from the 21-yard line as the injured player for Joaquin will hop up and start off the field now. Looks like that young man will be okay. Nothing serious there.
That's always good news.
Tiger offense coming back on the field, and you'd like to see this. You know, it helps with a good return by Madison and then the 15-yard personal foul penalty. But Centerville Tigers going right back to Gunzelman on a couple of carries, and before you know it, they're down around the 20-yard line.
You know, and all penalties are costly in any kind of football game, but they just seem to magnify here in the playoffs. And on both sides, there's been some costly penalties. Definitely kept the Joaquin drive alive a while ago when they had the football. And, of course, you tack on a good return and a penalty, and Centerville's in business on offense.
2nd down and 4 for the Tigers from the 21-yard line. Zarate, the single receiver to the left side. Split backs behind free. That is Brandon, Madison, and Gunzelman. Hand off to Bird following those two backs through. Bird with a good run down to the 15-yard line. Picks up the first down. Gain of 6 there by Daniel Bird.
Yeah, I like the way Coach Robinson's mixing it up and letting all 3 of the backs touch it right now. And Bird with a good hard run with his big body.
Boy, I tell you what, he was quick through the hole there, too. Usually when you see Bird running the ball, he kind of takes a little bit of time getting going, but once he gets going, he picks up speed. But that time, he hit the hole quick, and before you know it, he had 6 yards.
I like that.
Free. Turns around, hands it off to Bird running right side. Bird runs over a tackler down close to the 10-yard line. Boy, Bird carried a couple of guys with him on that run.
And basically the same kind of run, just straight ahead. More of a north and south type of run for Bird. And, he gets his pads down. He's hard to bring down. He's a big kid, well over 200 pounds. And Centerville, 2nd and 5.
2nd and 5 from the 10-yard line with 5:57 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Zarate out to the right side. Free, handoff Gunzelman behind Madison. Gunzelman squirts through another tackle, gets inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. Pickup of 6 once again for Calvin Gunzelman.
And that word describes it perfectly, squirts through there, because he just churns those feet and gets behind those big bodies, and he really just gets everybody fired up. And the Centerville Tiger fans are really letting them know how much they appreciate it.
Joaquin takes a timeout here with 5:43 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Let's take a 30-second break. Be back with more Centerville Tiger playoff football here on KMVL right after this. Welcome back to Tyler, Texas here at All Saints High School. 10-7 your score. Joaquin with the lead. Centerville 1st and goal, though, from the 4-yard line. As we come back after the Joaquin timeout, we've got 5:43 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Joaquin taking their first lead of the game after their field goal. One receiver out to the left side this time. Single back behind free. That is Gunzelman. Now Bird in motion. Bird takes a toss. Running right side. Cuts it up. Bird going into the end zone. Touchdown, Centerville. Bird puts it in, and that gives Centerville the lead right back.
Good drive by the Tigers. Little tunnel sweep toss. Madison and Gunzelman lead blocking. Big Daniel Bird on the score.
Daniel Bird will come on now for the extra point with Hunter free to hold. Trying to give Tigers a 4-point lead. High snap, ball is down, kick is up, and this one is good. Good job there by Hunter free to make the adjustment and get that ball down. 5:39 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Centerville goes back up 14-10 over the Joaquin Rams. We'll take another 1-minute break. Be back with the Centerville Tiger kickoff after this. 14-10 your score as we bring you back to Tyler, Texas here at All Saints High School. The Centerville Tigers take the lead right back from Joaquin. After the Rams field goal, Centerville takes the ball down the field and puts another touchdown on the board. Daniel Bird with it teed up for the Tigers. Connor Bragg back deep for the Rams. Playing some good music here at All Saints High School tonight.
I know, I'm very encouraged. A lot of throwback old music.
Angle kick to the near side. This one will be ran back by Joseph Tarver, and Tarver gets to a couple of tacklers up to the 44-yard line before he's finally brought down.
Good field position for the Joaquin Rams.
They'll take over 1st and 10 from their own 44. Once again, 14-10 is your score here in this by-district playoff game. Centerville leading Joaquin. Joaquin coming into the night ranked in the top 10 in Division 1A and 2A Division 1. A top 10 team along with St. Augustine, the 2 top teams out of this district. Wilkerson hands off quickly up the middle and a big run here across the midfield to the 45-yard line, down to the 44-yard line with Case Yates.
He's really been their big play guy on offense tonight. He's only had about 3 or 4 touches, but each time it's been big gains. So I mentioned a while ago he needs to touch the football a little more, but just a base dive inside to him out of his fullback spot and a first down for the Rams.
Gain of 12 there, 5:24 as the handoff goes this time over to Bragg. Bragg turns the corner. Bragg with some room down close to the 30-yard line before he's brought down.
Little misdirection handoff for another first down. A little back and forth going on here. Centerville and Joaquin here in the third quarter.
Gain of 14 there. 5:01 remaining here in the fourth. A couple of first downs for Joaquin on this drive as their offense trying to answer right back. Wilkerson, quick handoff once again to Yates, and Yates goes across the 30 down to the 25, 24-yard line. Gain of 6 there.
And every time he's touched the ball, it's been to the left side, so they've found a spot in there they like to run with him. 6-yard pickup, so they're quickly going down the field. Of course, they break the huddle in a hurry and get to the line of scrimmage, so they're looking to possibly score again.
2nd down and 4. Wilkerson, handoff around as Bragg trying to turn the corner, and Centerville will drag him down at the 21-yard line. So a gain of 3 there, but a good job, good open field tackle there by the Tigers.
Hunter Free on the tackle from his safety spot. And that was that same misdirection handoff they did a while ago, and looked like he was going to get a lot bigger gain than he actually did. So Free did a good job filling the alley there and keeping that to a minimal gain.
3rd down and 1 coming up. Wilkerson straight ahead. And looks like he will have the first down to the 19-yard line.
Very effective quarterback sneak. Good push by the Joaquin offensive line and led by their center. He's done a good job all night. I've been watching him. He's a big, powerful kid. That's Titus Harvey, 248-pound senior.
Pickup of 3 there on the keeper by Wilkerson. 1st and 10 from the Tiger 18-yard line. Wilkerson this time pitched the ball back to Bragg coming left side. Bragg, that's actually Hunter Gates, and Gates is going to be hit, and he will lose a yard on the carry.
Daniel Bird leading the way for the Tigers. Joaquin decided to go outside there. Proved to be ineffective. Lost a yard, so it'll be 2nd and 11.
Tiger defense trying to stiffen up here inside the red zone. They've done a pretty good job tonight holding Joaquin from scoring inside the 20. They've kept them to a field goal. Really, the only other touchdown was on the punt return. Wilkerson this time fumbles the ball on the snap, and Centerville recovers it on the 20-yard line. I don't think he ever got the ball back to him. Centerville's football at the 20.
Don't know who got the ball for the Tigers, but no doubt they have it.
So once again, the Tiger defense turns them around.
I think that was Pate Leathers on the fumble recovery. Either way, he never did get that clean, and ball was bouncing around. So Joaquin has shot themselves in the foot, and these turnovers really add up here in the second half of a playoff game.
3:36 remaining here in the third quarter. Centerville with it 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. Zarate, the receiver, out to the left side. Free turns around, hands it off to Madison, or to Gunzelman, I believe that's who it was. And he'll go up to the 22-yard line. Or is that Bird? I couldn't tell.
That's Gabe Castillo.
Oh, there we go.
He's obviously been getting a little bit of PT tonight here at fullback, coming in from Gunzelman at times to give him a little blow, and he was able to get 3 yards on that first down carry.
2nd down and 7 coming up here for the Tigers. Zarate out to the right side this time. Bird split off to the left. He goes in motion to the right side. Free turns around, pitches back to Madison coming near side. Madison looking for a hole across the 25, then spun around and brought down at the 29-yard line. So a gain of 6 there by Madison, and he's going to be about a yard short of the first down.
Good hard run there by Madison. I know the Tigers want to get him the ball a little more here late in the game, but they've done a good job as the Joaquin Rams have been keying on him tonight for sure. That's been a focus point of emphasis for the Joaquin defense, but eventually he's got to bust free as well.
3rd down and 1 coming up for the Tigers from the 29-yard line. Bartleman, the receiver, out to the left side this time. Madison split to the right, and he'll go to the backfield and swap places, and now a timeout will be taken by the Centerville Tigers. Some confusion there in the backfield with lining up by Castillo, and Centerville will take a timeout with 1:13 remaining here in the third quarter. Probably a good timeout there because you sure don't want to get a 5-yard penalty for anything and turn a 3rd and 1 into a 3rd and 6.
Or a busted play if you're lined up incorrectly. So, yeah, you're exactly right. A good timeout by the Tigers. You know, sometimes when you're playing with different players, there can be a little confusion in the backfield, and there was obviously before the ball was snapped, and, prevented a mistake from happening.
14-10 is your score. Centerville leading Joaquin here in the third quarter. Last we heard, Evadale was leading Grapeland 27-21 in their ball game. That game can be heard on our sister station, KIVY, 1290 AM and 102.9 FM. Lovelady Lions playing Alto tonight on the FM side, 92.7 FM.
As soon as we get this Credence Clearwater off, we'll start the next play here.
3rd down and 1 for the Tigers. Free looks around and will keep this one himself, a quarterback dive, and he'll get up to the 31-yard line, picks up the first down.
Still one of my favorite songs of all time, though, Green River, for the listening audience, if you hear all this racket in the background.
Well, they've been top-notch on the music tonight here at All Saints.
Oh, they had Loverboy a while ago, early 80s rock band that I was in high school with, so yeah, I'm all thumbs up over here.
55 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
Lovelady Alto tied at 20.
Good ball game going on there. One receiver out left side. Madison in motion. He takes the pitch. Cuts it up and is upended as he crosses the line of scrimmage up to the 34-yard line. So a pickup of 3 there by Madison. I think Joaquin is kind of keying in on trying to hit him down low and upend him.
He's a big kid, and if you try to tackle him up high, you're going to get rolled over for the most part. That was Trenton Ramsey, and you look at him, he's 145 pounds, so he's ripping through that thigh pad down toward the knee, and that's about the only place you can tackle him.
Looks like Tigers may let the clock run out here in the third quarter. It's down to 15 seconds, and they're in no hurry to get to the line of scrimmage, but they will have to get a play off. Looks like the play clock is down to 9. No, it's pretty close to the same, the game clock and the play clock, and I believe they're going to be able to let this one run out without a penalty, and that will be an end to our third quarter. 14-10 is your score, and the referees will come and talk about this or over the ball to see if Centerville. I think they're going to talk about whether they're going to give Centerville a penalty here or not. The game clock and the play clock was neck and neck, but the referee has not moved the ball from the 34-yard line. Now a couple of the Centerville coaches are kind of curious as to what they're talking about here.
And definitely the Joaquin head coach is all the way out to midfield nearly. States, claiming his case that there was about a half a second differential on the clock.
And they're not going to, according to the Joaquin coach over there, they're not going to give Centerville a penalty, so the third quarter will come to an end. Now they go back to the huddle and talk it over here. And let's see what they do here. I think they're just going to still talking to the Joaquin coach over there, and looking at his reaction, they're not going to assess Centerville a penalty here. So that'll bring an end to our third quarter. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll get ready for the fourth quarter here from Tyler after this. Welcome back to All Saints High School here in Tyler. 14-10 is your score as we start the fourth quarter. We'll have a 2nd down and 7 for the Centerville Tigers here to start the fourth. Vardaman, the one receiver out to the left side. As we get this fourth quarter underway, they'll pitch it back to Daniel Bird coming to the left side. Bird cuts it up, runs over a tackler, gets up to the 41-yard line, and he'll be close to another first down. Boy, Bird, I just love seeing Bird lower his head and just run people over. That's exactly what he did on that play there.
When he runs north and south, he's as good as anybody around, and he's done an excellent job of doing that tonight. And let me see, 3rd down and short here coming up. Got an updated score, Lovelady 22, Alto 20. Obviously a safety for the Lovelady Lions here in the last few moments.
3rd down and 1 for Centerville. Free turns around, throws it over to Castillo, and he will get the first down at the 41-yard line. So Tigers able to move the chains.
And Castillo being a factor tonight. Recovered an attempted onside kick, and had a couple touches here tonight running the football.
Got the ball up to the 42-yard line, gain of 2 there for Castillo. First down and 10 for Centerville. They lead at 14-10 here in the start of the fourth quarter. Zarate, the receiver, out to the right side this time. Bird in motion. He takes the pitch, going right from Free. Now cuts it up across the 45, up to the 48-yard line. Good gain there by Bird on first down. Picks up about 7 or 8 yards.
What you want on first down. Keep that clock moving, and a productive play on first down, which sets up the Tigers second and short.
They spot him at the 48, so a gain of 6 there. Second down and 4 for Centerville. And you love seeing it in a T offense, T-style offense. You love seeing those second down and shorts.
Absolutely, and
gives you a whole lot of options.
It does, and with them keen on Madison tonight, it was up to some of these other skill players to step up and play, and they're doing it tonight for sure.
Bird in motion going right side, pitch back to Castillo again. He'll turn the corner, has the first down, and finally knocked out of bounds at the 45. Castillo's best run of the night.
That's a quick pitch to a fullback, which you don't see very often, but boy, he looked good running it, and he's quick. You know, he's got a little size to him, and had some big blockers out in front of him, and got the first down for the Tigers.
Gain of 6 there. They'll spot the ball just inside the 46-yard line on the Joaquin side of the field. First down and 10 with 9:41 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Boy, the Tigers up by 4 can go down and score on this one. This will be huge on that type in this type of game.
Absolutely.
Handoff to Castillo again, and he'll get 3, maybe 4 yards there on the carry.
He's gaining confidence, that's for sure. And tackle there by Trenton Ramsey, just 145 pounds, going against these big backs. And they did a good job bringing them down for a short gain.
Gain of 3 there, so a second down and 7 coming up now for the Tigers.
Tigers are in no hurry at this point.
One receiver out to the left side, trying to run as much clock off as possible here. Free with the snap, turns around, now follows it back through the hole, and that's a designed one of those quarterback follows, and Free gets good yardage up to the 36 on the carry.
No doubt about it. Hunter Free following a couple of his blockers there, Gabe Castillo and Brandon Madison, and it's going to be third and short for the Tigers.
Like 5-yard gain there, 6-yard gain. So a third down and 1 coming up here for the Tigers. One receiver out to the right side this time. Madison in the backfield along with Castillo. Bird goes in motion, handoff to Bird. Coming left side, has the first down up to the 30-yard line. And that's where they'll bring him down. Pickup of 7 there by Daniel Bird.
Tigers trying to impose their will on the Joaquin defense.
First down and 10 for the Tigers from the Joaquin 30-yard line as the game clock continues to move. Coach, with 8:10 remaining, they'll stop the clock to move the chains here. But if you're Joaquin and Centerville scores here, at what time do you start burning your timeouts? Is it down within 3 minutes, 5 minutes?
I would say within 3, but the bottom line is the time of possession in the first half is starting to pay dividends for the Tigers here in the second.
Hand off to Madison left side. He'll get up to the 25-yard line, picks up 5 yards there on that carry. Centerville, like you said earlier, Coach, imposing their will right now on this drive and just burning a lot of time off this clock.
And both teams are so well coached, and you can tell they're all in super shape because I don't see anybody tired over on the Joaquin defense, but definitely the Tigers have momentum on their side.
St. Augustine leading Deweyville 41-0 at the half. I think you said that one earlier. Tigers line back up over on the ball. Second down and 5 here. Hand off to Madison. Makes a nice cut and then is brought down short of the first down. Picks up about 3 yards there. Good open field tackle there by one of the Ram defensive men.
That's number 3, Trenton Ramsey. He's had a lot of tackles tonight for the Joaquin Rams, and they're in a 3rd and 1, maybe a short 2 here for the Tigers, and times are getting a little bit desperate here for Joaquin to try to flex their muscle here and possibly put a stop on the Tigers, but Tigers are definitely in 4-down territory.
Tigers come up, 3rd down and 2. One receiver out left side this time. Free has a snap, turns around, throws it back to Madison, looking for a hole. Now breaks it out to the right side, has the first down. Madison goes out of bounds inside the 20-yard line, down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
You knew his name was going to start getting called, and he's showing why he's one of the better backs here in the state of Texas, Class 2A.
They'll put the ball down at the 14, a gain of 8 there by Brandon Madison in a 1st and 10 for Centerville at the 14 with 6:36 remaining here in the 4th quarter.
Real important for the Tigers to possibly get a touchdown here. Not just a field goal.
Handoff this time, I believe that was Castillo or Gunzelman. Gets up to the 10-yard line, so gain of 4 there.
That was definitely Gunzelman, and they like to give him the ball when they get down here in the red zone because he's so low to the ground and just has a nose for that end zone. And it's going to be 2nd and 6 for the Tigers.
Gain of 4 there. Centerville keeps burning that time off the clock. Up 14-10 with 6 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. Boy, a score here from Centerville wouldn't be big. One receiver out to the right side here. Bird flanked to the left side, now goes in motion. They'll pitch it back to Bird going right. Bird cuts it up. Bird, big hole. Bird, touchdown. Well, the offensive line just created a hole that you could drive a truck through, and that's exactly what the Tigers did. They drove Daniel Bird, the big truck, through the hole into the end zone.
And the key block on that play, Brandon Madison. You know, their bell cow of a running back. That's how unselfish of a player he is. He knows they're keying on him tonight, and his partners are doing a good job to pick it up, and Bird just had a big night for the Tigers.
Extra point attempt. Now low snap. Free picks it up. The kick is low, and it's no good. Low snap there kind of put a damper on that touchdown, but Centerville leads it by 10 now. 20-10 is your score with 5:52 remaining in the 4th quarter. We'll take a 1-minute break, come back with a Centerville Tiger kickoff here on KMVL after this. Welcome back to All Saints High School here in Tyler. 20-10 is your score. The Centerville Tigers going up with the touchdown, up by 10 as we get ready for another Daniel Bird kickoff. 5:52 remaining here in the 4th quarter.
We got a little Bruce Springsteen playing now. This is all before your time, Tommy.
You know, that was following Alan Jackson. Little Don't Rock the Jukebox. So.
They're very versatile here at All Saints with their music.
Bird on the kickoff. This is a little bit deeper on the kickoff here. It's going to be taken on the 29-yard line there by Hunter Gates, and Gates will be thrown down from behind at the 44-yard line. So a 15-yard return there.
Cade Pate on the tackle.
So the Joaquin Rams will take over 1st and 10 at the 44 here in the 4th quarter. And we have a timeout on the field, or a penalty. Didn't see a flag down, but the official is going to call a procedure penalty on the Centerville Tigers. So they'll move this. Let's see if they make them re-kick. No, I think they're just going to mark it off from the spot.
I'm not sure what that penalty is.
On the run back.
I'm confused with that call, but it's obviously against the Tigers.
We'll put the ball at the 49-yard line.
We do have one final here, Tommy. Lovelady 22, Alto 20. So,
boy, a great ball game there. Back and forth all night.
Absolutely, just like this game. And congratulations to the Lovelady Lions and Coach John Lowry.
Wilkerson takes a snap, going to keep it himself across the left side. A little bit of room across midfield. Now cuts it up, stiff arms a tackler across the 45, down to the 43-yard line. Good run there by Wilkerson.
That was a design run for Wilkerson. They faked that jet sweep, and he just ran a little naked boot run, and he just had to shake one guy out here in the flat, and he did that and got 9 yards on the first down.
2nd down and 1 coming up. Tigers look like they might have had him bottled up in the backfield, but he was able to break loose from a tackle and stiff arm another man and get 5 more yards.
He's a good runner. Just their style of offense doesn't let him run the ball much.
Wilkerson drops back to pass, going down the middle of the field. Hit as he throws, passes up in the air, and it falls well short. Incomplete pass there will stop the clock. Well, I tell you, if a couple of defenders would have been looking back, that could have been a pick for the Tigers. But they were running stride for stride with the receiver down there. And was in good position if the ball would have got there to him, but the ball was about 10 yards short.
Yeah, it's hard to tell where that ball would have ended up if he wouldn't have been hit. But that was Roland Davis on the pass rush for the Tigers.
3rd down and 1 here. Wilkerson, quarterback keeper, fumbles the ball again. He's going to be stuffed in the backfield for a loss. Boy, he had to reach down and pick the ball up, and by the time he got possession of it again, the Tigers dropped him for a loss there.
They've had a couple of costly turnovers here in this ballgame, especially in the second half, just with the center exchange. So it's 4th and 2 for the Rams. They could afford to throw deep a while ago on 2nd and 1, but now this is a must pick up for the Rams here on 4th down.
Big play coming up for Joaquin.
I'd get it to 24, fullback.
Wilkerson under center. Turns around, keeps it himself, follows it back through the hole, and looks like he's going to be picking up the first down to the 40-yard line.
Little follow play for the quarterback, and he got the first down. Keeps their season alive. 4 minutes and 19 seconds to go.
So first down from the 40.
And they don't need to be in the hurry up, but they want to pick it up, that's for sure, Tommy, even though they get out of the huddle fairly quick anyway.
As Wilkerson flags come in, hands off near side to Gates. He'll turn the corner at the 40, but the Tigers string him out and run him out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So no gain there.
And we got a flag.
Flag on the far side, and we'll have to see what this is going to be about.
Neutral zone lined up for the Tigers, against the Tigers.
So they'll push the ball down 5 yards. It'll be a first down and 5 now on the Tigers for the Rams on the 35-yard line. The clock stopped with 4:01 remaining in the ball game, or in the fourth quarter anyway. Wilkerson, quick pass out to the left side, caught in the backfield, and then going forward for about 3, maybe 4 yards up to the 31-yard line is the receiver.
Case Yates going from fullback all the way out to a slot out there and catching that quick screen and falling forward for about 3.5 yards. So it'll be 2nd and 2, but now Joaquin's got to pick it up even more with inside 4 minutes.
Wilkerson drops back to pass again, looking left side, gets his pass away deep down the field, got a man down the sideline, but overthrows him, and it's incomplete. So a 3rd down and 2 coming up now. And you can see things are starting to get intense on the Rams sideline over there.
You know, and they don't have to score a touchdown. They need a touchdown and field goal to possibly tie this game. They do have a good kicker, but either way they need to pick up this first down.
Clock stopped now, 3rd down and 2 with 3:31 remaining in the ballgame. Centerville leads at 20-10 over Joaquin. Rams coming up to the line. Wilkerson looks across, has a snap. Quick handoff, left side, and they'll pick up the first down across the 30 to the 29-yard line.
That's Yates on the carry for the first down. Joaquin coaches telling their team to get in the huddle in a hurry. 3:23 and counting.
Pickup of 3 there on the run by Yates as they run right back up to the line of scrimmage. Wilkerson drops back to pass, rolling right side, the pass back the other way. Man, wide open, and he is stuck hard right there at the first down marker. What a big hit by the Tigers. A great play there. The guy was open down the left side, but he paid the price after he made the catch.
A little bootleg throwback to the Hunter Gates, and boy, he did pay the price, but did get 9 yards. He's a tough kid. He's back in the huddle.
Boy, he caught that ball and turned around and was stuck immediately. Handoff left side to Yates, and Yates will pick up the first down here.
That was Cade Pate that had that big hit a while ago.
Gain of 2 there, down to a gain of 3 to the 17-yard line, so a 1st and 10 for Joaquin.
Clock moving. Time is the enemy right now for Joaquin.
2:33 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Wilkerson drops back to pass, rolling right side. Looking now backside. He'll be flush out of the pocket. We'll try to run with it across the 15 and then knocked out of bounds or ran out of bounds at the 13-yard line.
He did a good job getting out of bounds. Smart play by the Trey Wilkerson, senior quarterback for the Rams.
Gain of 4 there on the carry by Wilkerson. A 2nd down and 6 coming up. Clock stops with 2:22 remaining here.
We still am not sure the timeout situation. Joaquin has used one for sure. Either way, they got to score in a hurry.
They'll send a little swinging gate formation here, and that's going to cause Centerville to take a timeout. I say swinging gate. They had, was it 5 receivers lined up on the left side?
They had a whole bunch. Either way, it was enough for Coach Hardy to call timeout to make sure they're lined up correctly. And that could have been done just specifically by Joaquin to probably draw that timeout, and kind of gives them an extra timeout on the sideline to call a few plays here.
So Centerville takes a timeout. Let's take 30 seconds. Be back with more Tiger playoff football here on KMVL after this. Welcome back to Tyler, and we've got another scoring update for you. Coach, what do you have?
I got Grapeland up 28-27 over Evadale with 57 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. So Grapeland's made a comeback and got a little less than a minute in that game. Of course, that's just playoff fever. We got a lot of great games in the area taking place right now.
2nd down and 6 coming up for Joaquin from the Centerville 18-yard line. The clock stopped after the Centerville timeout with 2:22 remaining here in the fourth quarter. 20-10 is your score. Centerville leads it by 10. Joaquin will need a score, either a field goal or a touchdown, and probably an onside kick. They line up that same formation, 5 receivers left side, now 1 in motion. They fake the handoff, and they do hand it off across the right side. They'll run with it, and Centerville will get them on a big loss here as they hand the ball off to Connor Bragg. Bragg looked like he might have wanted to throw it, but Centerville tackled him right there at about the 16-yard line.
He did get out of bounds, but not the kind of play they were looking for, and just a fine job by the Tigers lining up correctly to that interesting formation that Joaquin came out in. Even after that timeout, they went back to it, and they're doing it again here.
Same formation here. 5 receivers over to the left side, empty backfield. Wilkerson drops back to pass, looking right side, gets his pass away, overthrow it, picked off by the Tigers. Hunter Free on the interception, the 15, and runs out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Great defensive play by Hunter Free, staying right there with the only receiver out to the right side, stepped in front of the ball and picked it off.
Free saved the day for the Tigers. Of course, they had a 10-point lead, but real important play right there, and very interesting how Joaquin went into somewhat of a trick mode here as they got down the red zone instead of sticking to their bread and butter and trying to punch that thing in, or at least kick a field goal to give themselves an opportunity. But either way, the Tigers benefited from that errant throw, and Free was right there to make the pick.
Tigers take over at the 20-yard line. And basically all they have to do now is run some clock. Up by 10 with 2:09 remaining in the ball game.
Joaquin definitely be forced to use their timeouts.
Bird in motion. He'll take the handoff going right. Cuts it up across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Still going. No whistle blown. And Bird gets another 10 yards after he completely ran over one of the defensive players. Bird never hit the ground with his knees and just put his arm down after everybody thought he was down, and then got another 10 yards after that.
What a second effort play by Bird. He just had the football IQ to know that he wasn't on the ground yet, even though it looked like he was on the ground, but he was on top of the body of the defender, Joaquin, which doesn't mean you're down, and had the presence to know to keep on moving, and got a very important first down for the Tigers.
Tigers have the first down at the 37-yard line. And we'll have a timeout called, I believe, by Joaquin. It is by Joaquin with 1:51 remaining here. Let's take a 30-second break. Be back with more Tiger football here on KMVL after this. Welcome back to Tyler, Texas, here at All Saints High School. 20-10 is your score. The Centerville Tigers leading the Joaquin Rams with 1:51 remaining in the ball game with the ball, 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line. Centerville up by 10, and Joaquin going down looking for a score Trying to pass toward the end zone. Hunter Free stepped in front of it, made the interception, returned it out to the 20. And Joaquin, I believe, was that their last time out? Well, they have one more.
I don't know. I'm in this trance listening to KC and the Sunshine Band, but
Free turns around, hands it off to Gunzelman. Gunzelman, a big run up to the 45-yard line, picks up 8 on the carry. Like to see that. Kind of like the cowbell. We need more Gunzelman. And Joaquin looks like they have now used their last timeout. 2nd down and 2 is where we are at the timeout with 1:38 remaining in the 4th quarter. Let's take another 30-second break. Be back with more Tiger playoff football after this. Welcome back to All Saints High School here in Tyler. 20-10 is your score. Centerville Tigers leading the Joaquin Rams here in this bi-district football game. Joaquin coming in ranked, one of the top 10 ranked teams in the state, but Centerville having their way, especially in the second half, Coach.
Absolutely.
2nd down and 2 here. Free, quarterback keeper, and Free looks like he will have the first down, and that should just about do it.
Victory formation coming up for the Tigers. Just need to take care of the football and put this one in the bag here, Tommy Davis.
Free picked up 3 on the keeper. And with 1:34 remaining, 2 or 3 snaps, and this ball game's over. Joaquin out of timeouts. Tigers will be moving on to the area around.
And a very excited Centerville Tiger sideline, rightfully so.
Victory formation for Centerville. Hunter Free takes a snap, downs the ball. We'll probably need to do that just maybe 2 more times. Tigers, barring a fumbled snap, will win at 20-10 here tonight. A lot of uncertainty for Centerville fans coming into tonight's game. But talking to some of the Centerville coaches, they felt pretty confident coming into tonight, getting back on track after the Groveton game. They felt good about what they were coming into tonight, and they've taken care of business.
Absolutely, and our district is really represented well tonight, and Tigers have iced this one now, and very thrilled for Coach Hardy and Coach Robinson and the staff there, and you can tell how excited they are, and the kids are too. And that, this is with all the hard work paying off right here. One
more snap to Hunter Free, and that will do it. Your Centerville Tigers are bi-district champs. They win tonight over Joaquin, 20-10. We'll take a 2-minute break. Come back with a final wrap-up here on KMVL right after this.
Yeah, this is my Mixcraft.